Winocle grip in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night! Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers on record. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.
The GMD Janitorial Cup Series will see Victor Fluger take the Matt Liveries 300 at Daytona, his first career win in the Moonshiners Racing League. Pushed up the track is Matthews. Chris Davis jumps to the inside. Davis cuts underneath. They wreck behind as Davis wins at Echo Park. His first GMD Janitorial Cup Series win comes at Coda. What a race, what a comeback. Bowie gets it done here at Coda. Bowie comes out of the final corner. Brandon Bowie, back to back, he gets it done at Phoenix. Alex Murray has had to fight so many times for opportunities to break through the victory lane this season. He'll get one in Las Vegas. It's Murray in Vegas.
Adversity goes by the wayside. It'll be back-to-back victories for the rookie for Dig eSports. And now he avenges his teammate. Alex Murray wins at Darlington.
Tonight, the Moonshiners Racing League looks to attack a paperclip. When it comes to Martinsville Speedway, the challenges are high, and for the GMD Janitorial Cup Series, they will stay high all night for the Shamrock Auto Care 250 here on Precision Entertainment. It's set to go for tonight's festivities. I'm Justin Prince. On Savvy the Boot for tonight's coverage will be Jeremy Miller. We'll also have Zach Case down on pit road, Axel Smith over on socials. You'll also have Ryan Bauer producing using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. A lot of different hands in playing for tonight as we count down to green for the paperclip. Martinsville Speedway sure to bring a lot of challenges tonight, Jeremy, and in particular, a lot of tempers expected.
Yeah, this is a lot of drivers' favorite racetracks, but it's usually not their favorite when they're leaving unless they're the guy who won it. We're going to see a lot of guys running into each other all night long, some tempers flaring, and probably a lot of bench sheet metal before it's over.
That's the understatement of the night, especially since it's early in the season, first of all, and second, it's been a challenge all throughout the week. Keep in mind, in real life, this is an off week coming up for drivers. Our off week is next week. That still brings the pressure on before we head to the All-Star race that's going to be at Charlotte for Moonshiners over in the 20th of May. But all these drivers so far are chasing Brandon Bowie. So far, he and Alex Murray have the points advantages. 41 points the difference between first and second. Better place in the top three. Amongst some of the notables right now, William Owens just barely above the cut line early on in the season for the chase. Brought to you by Impact Designs. With Chris Cornett, the first out, Carr, Matthews, and Shade are all within 13 points in the standings so far this season. In our words, it's pretty tight for the standings, and it should stay pretty tight, especially in a place where people are going to very much be tight on how many hot dogs they can fit in their budget.
Yeah, this is the tightest track on the schedule, Justin. A lot of space to work with. It has widened out a little bit in terms of how much of this pavement and concrete you can use to race on at a competitive pace, but certainly going to be a lot of guys harboring down on that inside of that curve. Maybe a little bit of a diamond running up into that banking just a little bit, but only half a mile here. Not a lot of banking, only 12 degrees of banking in the corners, completely flat straightaways. You stand down there next to this racetrack, those corners don't even look banked, even though it has that little bit. So, been around a long time, Justin. 78-year-old track, and obviously those hot dogs, very, very famous here.
With that being said, it's time to see who got your pole award. Brought to you by Victory Designs this evening. Your fastest qualifier when it comes to tonight's racing went to Matt Cox. He set the fastest time by a few hundreds over Brandon Bowie. 41 1,000ths to be precise, with better place in row 2 alongside Alex Coffey. Timothy Harper will start in row 3 tonight in the Shamrock machine. Barry Sanders will start in 6th. Paul Gallimore starts down in 7th with Chris Cornett in 8th position. 9th goes to Hunter Carmichael, and Kyle Holden is in the top 10.
First car to the top 10 in qualifying is going to be William Owens in the 30. Joining him, Sean Rogers in the 44, rolling off P12. 13th tonight is going to be Mark Sanchez, joined by Nigel Christensen in the 14th position. Trevor Astronaut is going to be rolling off 15th, and Jim Treat is going to be rolling off 16th in the 6th. Starting 17th tonight is going to be Kenny Reel in the 99 Precision car, and Ryan Catalano is going to roll off 18th, and rounding out our top 20 tonight are going to be Greg Carr and Cody Needles.
Needles indeed going to be up there in the top 20. Johnny Shade in 21st. Wayne Wilson is down in 22nd. 23rd spot tonight goes the way of Blake Hochschild, who is another driver we haven't seen too much of this season. Corey Moore will start next to him. One other driver took a time tonight, that was Jose Medina. Every other car is going to have to come for the back. That includes Nico Garcia, you have Alex Murray, Chris Vincent, Aaron Matthews, Nick King, Matt Mackin, and Matt Metler, who are all not qualified on time. So here's your race analysis tonight here, Jeremy. And the first things first, you will not expect to be an issue really for, in theory, any of the stages if you do the math. Maybe in stage 3 if you somehow go green. But you still have the potential of a lot of chaos with those incident points.
Yeah, your drivers are going to have to be really careful. Those will stack up pretty quickly here, and you'll be a completely innocent bystander and catch a 4X or 2 here and there. So just got to keep your car in a safe space early, especially. Don't want to get knocked out of this race in the first stage or even the second stage with those incident points, and got to be there at the end if you're going to have a shot at it.
So with that in mind, as we take a look at your track conditions here this evening, Zach, I want to turn to you as you get ready for tonight's festivities. What's your thoughts on tonight, and what's the feel from some of the drivers based on your discussions throughout the week entering tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys. Obviously, running the Paperclip, one of the short tracks we're going to get through this year in this calendar season, and the first short track we're going to see on the schedule. Just talking with the Aero Camp so far tonight with their little with their team meeting, and obviously I think the biggest thing for them is just keeping the car clean, keeping that nose clean, trying to not make any problems really realistically with that. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that the drivers can keep their car clean, keep their points moving in the stages, and be set up for that stage 3. Track position is the biggest thing I'm watching tonight.
It's going to be an interesting night tonight as you see some of your Van Louis Stickers camera viewpoints. Remember, your stage brought to you by Collegiate Football Simulation League, the top collegiate simulation league. Create your legacy by visiting collegesimleague.com today. Van Louis Stickers start zone is going to be a little bit chaotic today. Let's find out how they'll race in the next lap, because they've added a pace lap, because Garcia, Real, and Murray will all start at the tail. And keep in mind, there's a chance with some tire spin or some trouble in the corners in the back of the field, Jerry, when we get the full field rolling.
Yeah, definitely always a choice here between what gear you're going to start, and some guys will start in a little bit of a lower gear just to keep those tires from spinning. Some guys will go with the higher gear and really try to get out there on these initial starts, and that can create some stack ups throughout the field as well. So definitely always something to watch for. But pace car is in, Justin. We're ready to get started here.
Happy with us here on Precision Entertainment as we get all set to go for tonight's coverage of the Shamrock Auto Killer 250. Pace car is off. Green flag is out. We're underway from Martinsville.
Good clean launches all the way through the field. You'll see them all trying to file into the bottom early. Matt Cox in that 32 can get clear for the lead, and already a multiple car length gap as they head down to turn 3 for the first time.
Single file up at the front of the field. Already Garcia amongst those having to peel down pit road with penalties. Same as well for Alex Murray. Those are from previous various incidents here in Moonshiners competition. So a couple of them going to have to come for the very back. All while the first side by side, you have to go to Gallimore, trying to go alongside Timothy Harper here. This is for the top 5.
Yeah, Gallimore is one of the cars I was looking at in practice today. Justin, really good long run pace. You see him getting that spot from the 23, Timothy Harper, all the way into the top 5 already. One of the best cars over the 15-20 lap runs in practice was that 11.
See how everybody else tries to get themselves into a rhythm here over the course of this one early on. A lot of these drivers, keep in mind, normally think about dirty air when it comes to this racetrack. You'll see a lot of the competitors tonight really try and find a way to get lines moving, especially in the traffic jam. You see right now Sean Rogers trying to work that wheel a bit.
Yeah, Rogers coming a little bit forward here right now as well. He's on the inside of Owens there in the 30. He'll be clear now. You see Owens working that higher lane up there. It's really easy to get too much wheel put into it coming off that corner. As you get out of the bank and on the flat, that's where you'll see guys kind of lose it and snap around. It's a lot easier to drive up off the bottom. Well, Owens doing a good job right
Wilson
now.
just hit. Great car. Caution flag is out. It's our first yellow flag. Car trying to dive, or race trying to hold on the outside, should say. But as you'll see here, topping off Hanso's company replay, Wilson came to the inside.
Here, Greg Carr at 25. You see nothing much out in front of him, Justin. Usually an indication that you are going backwards, holding up some cars a little bit. So you're going to see Wilson looking for a dive at the bottom. Carr got in there deep, and well, Wilson got in there deep later and just got into the left rear. Relatively tame for Martinsville standards, so no damage to either of those race cars.
Yep, you see it right here with Wilson. Tries to run in the inside a little bit lower for Carr mid-corner. Carr was able to at least stop it from fully rotating. Still enough to bring on a caution with the help of the dig machine. Again, topping off Hanso's company replay for the first time tonight. And we might see a lot of those this evening here. Keep in mind here in the note that it's pretty silent on the radios. I don't know how long that's going to be here, Jeremy, with this track.
Yeah, enjoy it while you got it. Right now, a lot of drivers will get kind of upset when the radios get chirpy, but this is one track where you just, if it's going to bother you, you got to mute it, because by the end of the night, these guys are going to be very angry at one another, and it will not stop, Justin, unless they get a green flag run where they all got to lock in.
So, early on in this one tonight, and the mindset's going to be very much clear for many of these competitors. Can they find their way to the very front? So what are some of the ways you get your way up here? Cornette, for example, in the top 9, at least will be on the bottom. So how do you get this done to get yourself track position, other than, of course, pass people?
Yeah, one of the big things here is definitely going to be tire strategy, pit strategy. This is one of the best tracks for getting off strategy. When you get a lot of cautions, you get a lot of heat cycles, you can afford to pit earlier than everyone and stay out some of the later yellows and cycle your way back forward. And you can also afford to do the opposite, run longer on a set because you keep getting to reset those tire temperatures and it keeps you going forward. As we take a look at this Top It Off Hot Sauce Company car, beautiful looking car, like Reaper car right there, Justin.
Yes, indeed. Taking the debut here tonight in terms of some of the looks this evening, especially the 89 also making a debut as well. But already, Zach, as we get ready for the restart, teams thinking about adjustments.
Yeah, JP, listening in on the Zero X Sim Racing group right there in their voice chat, and really the team right now just talking about tire adjustments. They think the car is going to build tight as the run goes on, as this race continues. So looking at adjustments here at the end of stage 1 from that group.
We'll find out how this plays out on the restart. All set to go with Cox up on the front. Green flag is out. Coming out of the family stickers restart zone. Back on her way. Good start.
Yeah, an even better launch for Cox that time. He is absolutely gone already. Bowie going to side right down there on the bottom. I think Bowie's okay with that car getting out front so much. It lets him get down to the bottom easily. You can see already a lot of cars piling in the bottom. Only one on the outside in the top 5, 2 in the top 10 really right now. So cars instantly finding their way down to that curve.
Everyone trying to stay in a rhythm and try and work around this racetrack. Try and stay out of potential troubles here. As we continue to battle out over the course of this run here. It's going to be an interesting one to say the very least for some of those like Coffee tonight. One of the fan favorites in this series for Dig. We're at the outside, and one of the funny things I've noticed here with a lot of the broadcasts this week over the course of this track, Jeremy, is top line is there now these days. In fact, it's more successful to play things out from the top if you're able to defend well, so long as you don't fall out of that concrete.
Yeah, Coffee a little bit too high right there, but he gets a good run off, looking to cross over Bowie. When you're on that outside, Justin, you can just really hold your door right on that guy's right front and really choke off their exit to where there's nothing they can do. You see Coffee right now. They will be shifting here all night long, not something that's traditionally been the truth of Martinsville, but ever since this iteration of race car has come into play, it has been the reality of this racetrack, and you'll get a lot of mixed feelings about that back and forth. I'm not the biggest fan of it when I'm in the car. It's a little bit difficult to get through the braking, but some guys really succeed because of it. A lot of the guys that you'll see good at road courses become a lot better at Martinsville than they even were in the past.
Matt Mackin, by the way, already started the race and is getting out of the car. So, situation for them seems to have pulled them out of the machine, as you see some of the viewpoints. Right now, Cornette, hard on the wheel at the very least. Lost a couple spots already. It's going to be hard to stop the bleeding.
He's doing okay right now, still in the top 10, just trying to settle in. See him working his way through the gears as well there. A little bit of separation to Rogers in front of him, but he's got a gap out back to Owens as well right now, so no real pressure right now for the 83, just settling in, saving some tires. We'll go on board Matthews a little bit further back here in the 5. He's looking on the inside of Shade in the 45. That's going to be tight down in there. You see how close he gets to that curve, Justin. You hit that, you're going to be right up in the back guy above you, and that's how you wreck.
How they all rip away around the racetrack as we go here. The tough thing is going to be, as this goes on as well, is for those at the back of the field, the further back you go, the harder you think it'll be. It's easier when you're driving to the front with clean air, at the very least for Matt Cox. However, the further you go, the worse it's going to be. Some drivers have described in various short track races, back here like where Nick Keen is, for example, is a completely different car compared to what you're feeling in clean air.
Yeah, dirty air has become more of a factor here than ever. However, there have been some changes. New aero package on tracks like Martinsville this year, smaller rear diffuser, and more horsepower. It should make it a little bit less dependent than it used to be, but still absolutely something the drivers need to think about as they approach each corner.
Sees one of the drivers trying to make their way through the field. Hearing Johnny Shea just had some things pop up at the top of Alphonse's company replay. Things were looking calm for a moment for Shea, in one theory. Taking a different look tonight in the 45. things picked up pretty quickly here. Shade, normally a strong driver on the super speedways.
Yeah, Shade usually pretty strong there for sure. He's usually good everywhere right now, but you'll see right here down in the 3 and 4, still just kind of minding his business on his own. You see Nick King working that outside behind him, and just a little bit too much gas right there, and great job by Nick King to avoid it. Wow, that was close.
Again, Toponoff Company, your replay provider. Receive 50% off entire orders at toponoffsauce.com. Use the code MRL15. Yeah, you can see he just locked it down to make sure he didn't loop it. Most people would actually just spin into the inside wall, or at least graze the fence at the least, Jeremy. That time he didn't. Hold on, Owens, for whatever reason, I think having to come down pit road, just did, and a slide for Metler in the wall.
Yeah, Metler in the wall. I think Owens may have been in the wall as well. I don't know else why LCB on pit road right now. Onboard Bowie and Cox. Look at that lap traffic already for our leaders here on lap 26. So they're going to have to work through that. We'll see which one of these cars works a little better as they try to make these passes. This is where you can really separate yourself in Martinsville if you're better at getting around the slower race cars.
Get ready to slam to the outside wall for Owens. That's why he had damage. He might have broke the suspension from it. Now the race leaders are already having to deal with traffic. Metler is in one of the red line cars here tonight, just trying to hold on in front. He's working with Real, Eggles, along with Catalano, as well as the newcomer 89 machine. Now we're also a broadcaster looking to survive up the front at the back of the field, at least after some of the slides of the 22 on track, 7 in sim.
And another one almost around. Timothy Harper just stacked him up big time there. That will bring out the caution in behind. I think they may have wrecked as a result of it because he was rolling by the time that yellow flew. We'll get a better look at that here in a moment. But I don't think a car is supposed to be sitting like that right there, Justin. Sean Rogers was on his door.
Yeah, that was on the side of his car. That's a rarity here, all from Harper getting loose. I think there was a stack up for your Toponoff Honsa's Company replay. Hunter Carmichael get heavy contact with a 44 next time by. And sometimes they'd stack up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, we'll see here. The 88 was the first car behind Harper when this all started. They got loose in front, but we'll see what happened to Sean Rogers and the 44. Obviously, the big impact in this incident. See right there, Sanders starts to check up for Van Recken, and he just got wedged between the wall and Carmichael, and it just put the car on the door. That is one of the weirder things I've ever seen. He never lifted, by the way, Justin. Those rear tires were spinning while the car was in the air.
I'm surprised it got off the side when it comes to the door, at least. Check up Constantina effect right there, everyone on the brakes. Carmichael a little bit more heavier on it. Potential with the brake in point, and that heavily is going to damage the 44 along with the 3 as a result. Welcome back to Four Wheels on the Ground. Rogers, he is obviously down pit road and is having to get repairs done. So, speaking of brakes, brake bias going to be huge tonight, Zach, especially here at Martinsville.
Yeah, for all the viewers watching at home, that's one thing you can adjust in the car, right? Moving that brake bias forward, moving it backwards, right? Leaving it in the middle, whatever's stock, right? It really comes down to driver preference with that, but a lot of drivers complaining right now they're tight center of the corner and on exit until they do get off and get straight on onto that straightaway. So something to watch, the guys moving around that brake bias, seeing if they can really loosen up the car in center of the corner. So that's something to keep an eye on the rest of the way here.
Interesting to say the very least. Thank you very much, Zach. Once again, valuable information for these drivers. And remember, we're already past halfway in the stage, Jeremy. That's the thing with the caution flags. The more cautions we get, the more this stage zips on by, the harder it is to actually score stage points in the first 2 stages.
Yeah, definitely running out of time, but I'll tell you, I'll give you one more break right here as well, Justin. Alex Murray, free pass under that yellow. Leaders were about to start lapping race cars. If they got to that stage of yellow with that happening, he would have been trapped to lap down for a long time, so huge break for a 22 car.
Terrific break, actually, as a result here for that one. And that will bring us up to the Family Stickers restart zone. Green flag is out, Cox is off and away. Good start for the 32. One looking to fall in line in the arrowed car. Everyone else gets back onto the wheels, side by side for third. Gallimore trying to make his way from the outside, trying to clear the 54 does.
Great job by Gallimore right there, clear to P3. I noted on practice he was pretty good, pretty sporty, so see what he can do there. Bowie with one of the better launches I think he's had so far tonight. Almost had a chance to cross over. Cox down in the 3, but wasn't quite able to get there. He's going to take a look here this time. Once again, though, Cox just drives in a little bit deeper and is able to cut off that line.
If you see right now as they go, Cox just playing things well up here, and he's been very strong when it comes to these types of races in the past. So far this season, after all, top 10 of the points, but not one of the drivers yet to win. Surprisingly, it's been a bit of an off start for the 32. Only 2 top 10s in his 6 starts in 2026 so far.
He's had the pace, he just hasn't had the results, has had some things go wrong, some wrecked race cars, but right now you can see what he can do when he's in control of a race and has the lead. He's one of the hardest guys to beat. He's so good at driving defensively, and a track like Martinsville, it pays even more dividends than it does on the rest of the schedule.
Seen some of the others really trying to find a way to get things to play dividends as we go about here. Looking at some of the drivers really solidify themselves on pace. Cornette just got a love tap from the boss man, Barry Sanders. Already trying to move his way ahead and find his way to car forward. Cornette actually missing a bit of the corner. Trying to hold on as Sanders eats the countdown.
Sanders still working off the back bumper of that 83. We saw some smoke in the background, but they stayed green off the back of that 83 car. So right now everybody's still chugging away here as we're closing in. Almost just about 20 laps left in the stage. They tick away so quickly here at Martinsville. You see this top 2 under a blanket and Gallimore just lurking there in P3, but they have pulled away from Coffee and 4th.
Absolutely, and as we continue to zip out here, interesting thing to keep in mind here is we just had near contact with Sanders, nearly ran in the back in a Cornette on the corner. One of the things to keep an eye on for some of these leaders, will we see issues under the braking, not just with the brakes, but the tires themselves, Zach?
Yeah, another thing to think about when you're heading into that braking zone is the wheel hop, right? And that's something that some drivers really you see here at Martinsville, especially in this next-gen car. I don't think you'll see it too much tonight with these skilled drivers here in the MRL League, but I think overall it's really going to come down to how do these drivers attack the braking zone. If you're going to dive in low on someone, you're going to have that wheel hop, then you're going to come up, make some contact, so definitely something to watch as we get into the later stages of stage 1.
Going to see what some of these cars really, how they play things out. How much some of these drivers really want to find their way up inside the top 11. Jim Treat, by the way, is the first driver outside the stage points as we go. He is in the Bull Island kart brakes machine, riding that spot. But up front, leaders still providing pressure. Bowie, who has been the man of the season so far, nearly lost it coming out the corner.
Yeah, this is a good racetrack for Bowie. I've raced with him here quite a few times, and I found myself around him on an occasion or two, and he won't be scared to use that bumper either if the situation arises, so something Cox has to be aware of as well. I think it's a little too early for that for Brandon, and he would even tell you that, but something later on definitely he'd be willing to do. And I just got a note real quick, because we've seen them bouncing around the onboard cans, a ton of marbles on the racetrack really early on in the event tonight. That could play a role later as they pick those up on those restarts and make those restarts even harder on these race cars.
Especially in terms of you're going to not be able to ride up at the top, let's put it that way. Some people, for example, in full-length cup challenge competition, just had to lift off the gas and let everybody go when they were up at the marbles. That's how tough it is around that outside of the racetrack here this evening. But right now, as we go, we're less than 15 laps to go, working our way through the front straightaway. At this point, anything else you would change up in terms of this play if you were Bowie to try and take this lead because of how even it is?
Yeah, Bowie's got to be patient until he gets the perfect run with the 11 so close. For now, Gallimore doing a good job making sure that 51 can't do whatever he wants. 51 doesn't look like his car is handling quite like he wants it to right now, so I think just a little bit of patience being exercised, keeping those rear tires in check right now for Brandon Bowie. But there's plenty of time still on this stage. There's still over 10 laps left, and if he's got time to make that move, he's going to definitely use the bumper for the stage points by the end of it. Right now, it's okay to just sit there and ride behind the 32.
just in a good spot for the stage points here. Most of the top 10 is in those comfortable spots. For those who had to drive down for penalties earlier, by the way, Murray is up to 13th. Garcia is up to 15th. Carmichael, who had damage repairs, is 26th. Those are amongst the drivers who have been down pit road so far tonight. Coming up to 10 to go in stage 1.
These three right now, really the class of the field. They have left everybody else in the dust. We'll see what Murray can do as he gets through that traffic. He's been climbing at a pretty rapid rate this run. Some lap traffic on the front end of that shot right there. We'll see if they catch those cars before the end of the stage as well, as we'll go on board with the 22 as he's working on some more positions. That's Matthews in 11th right there in front of the 6th of Jim Street. So we'll see if Murray can get a couple more here. Looks like it's a little bit too far away for some stage points though.
Yeah, gonna be in a good spot at least for stage 2 though. That's the lucky thing. Chance to put on some fresh tires, chance to reset, chance to reprieve at the very least with how things are going so far here in stage 1. So at this point, gotta feel the car's gonna be solid. In FLCC before, let's put it politely, tempers were a-flaring. The 22, he was a top 10 car for much of the evening. So, looking up front, coming up now to what is going to be 7 to go. It's time through. Gallimore, mind you, for his sake, is losing a bit of ground late in this run.
Yeah, he still has hung in there really tough. I'm impressed with the speed on that 11 right now, and he's in a prime spot if those two get into each other to capitalize as well.
Not to wonder with the brake glow at the front end, how the rears are definitely playing up for some of these tires right now. Heavy traffic for the race leaders is going to potentially come to play. Bowie taking the low line, couldn't get the Cox inside.
Yeah, really long green flag run here for Martinsville standards a lot of the times, so we're catching the rear end of that field. Be not a lot of time to work through this traffic as we're coming to 5 to go in the stage right here, but they will get to the tail end of this field. We'll see what type of an influence that plays over these guys. I think Cox is usually a little bit more precise getting through traffic, so this may play into his hand, but Bowie, I mean, we've talked about it before, he's got a ton of experience on the sim. He makes another look to the inside, he's just trying to get Cox to make a mistake with a look like that.
Yeah, all sorts of brake glow late in this one as we come up to 4 to go. Take a look at the traffic jam. William Owens trying to stay out of the way, nearly cause contact. Bowie stays settled in. Now they've caught up to Sean Rogers. They also have a couple others checking up the queue. That includes Mettler in front.
See Rogers way up in those marbles like you were talking about earlier. And look at that, just goes way backwards. Nothing he can do up there. So all 3 or 5 of the first 2 laps cars are going to work with Mettler now. So coming back, 2 laps will be remaining on the stage when they cross the line this time. Mettler a little bit squirrely there in front of Cox. He's going to have to dive under on the straightaway here. We'll see what Bowie can set up anything off of this.
Yeah, still nothing doing in terms of the passing opportunities. Mettler nearly squeezed in the wall. Had to lift off the gas a little bit. Johnny Shade at a risk getting the lap. Coming to 1 to go in stage 1. Right now, Bowie looking for any way to pick up an extra point. Will he risk it on the 32? Shade already has front end damage he's been dealing with here in this one. Oh, he's parking in front of the race leader. Nearly got moved. Shade doesn't want to lose a lap. This checks up the leaders side by side for the stage win. It's Cox over Bowie.
Cox throws a little bit of a hip check there to keep the lead in the stage win after he got checked up by Johnny Shade. Really close photo finish between those two for those points, and there will go the yellow flag as the top 10 of all across the line. Some tire smoke out of the King right as that yellow flew there. Let's see, looks like everybody gets out of that all good, and here comes Johnny Shade right back around already. So there's our leaders.
Puts center yellow with Cox, Bowie, Gallimore, Harper, Coffey, Fitter Place, Sanders, Almond Cornett, Holden, and Christensen amongst your top 10 for this situation. As we get all bundled up here under the yellow flag as a result. Should see everybody take 4 tires and fuel this time through for their service as they try and get themselves reloaded. Curious what's the the fall off going to be for some of these drivers here over the course of the run? Keep in mind, as you can see, some temperatures have been picking up over the course of the run, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's just the cars putting some heat in the racetrack. You look at it, our weather conditions have remained the same, still 76 degrees and sunny, so just a lot of rubber being put down on the racetrack, and that'll cause those temperatures to spike. You see the jacks up on the right side. Both these cars should expect to see the lefts as well, which we will, as they have not launched yet. So 4 tires and fuel, and it looks like Cox and Bowie pretty even right there, and Bowie a little bit of a launch fair, but Cox will win their... Oh! Hey, somebody pulling down there. Very lucky they phased through that race car. I don't know who that was. It looks like it might have been Matt Metler, but that could have been very dangerous for the leaders.
Yeah, that was a little bit chaotic to say the very least on that entry sequence, or exit sequence, should say. Everyone else going on through. We'll take a break. You're watching tonight's coverage of the Shamrock Auto Care 250. Welcome back to tonight's action as we get ready for Stage 2, brought to you by RS Button Boxes. Green flag is now underway for the Manly Stickers restart zone as the field zips its way forward. Matt Cox staying up in the front of the field, followed by Bowie Galmore, Timothy Harper, and Alex Coffey are amongst your top 5 off the rim. A lot of teams, though, going to be working these brakes. We've got a wreck. Barry Sanders and many screams of slow down, please. And we have a parking lot. No caution.
I've never seen the sim hold the flag that long with cars facing the wrong direction in the middle of a racing group before. Not quite sure what caused that. Barry Sanders, see him beached on the curb, trying to get back going. He's going to go a lap down, still not able to get back going. Some damage on the right front and a lap lost for Barry Sanders to start this stage.
Well, tempers, they do be flaring here all of a sudden, to say the least. I believe Kenny Ray was on the radio right before the top it off Hanso's Company replay for at least 10 seconds, saying, please slow down, in no certain terms there. Let's see this, how this all broke down.
Sanders right there on the inside of Cornet right now. Fetterplate's working in front of them, holding in behind Sanders here. Oh, Sanders got in there a little bit too deep, got into the 83. You see bumping and banging, everybody trying to get through. A treat, just nowhere to go, gets into the left rear of Sanders, and they wreck even Ferber in behind. That's the 38 around. Carmichael in it as well. Saw the 18 of Wilson came to a complete stop and avoided it.
And this collected Hausjob, one of the newcomers for the series tonight. Wow, he got absolutely zipped about underneath by the 29.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Sanchez quite heard the slow down call outs there, so it's not easy to see around the corners here. There's such a sharp degree. Yeah, we'll see right here, just working and gets stuck up on this curb, and they're gonna try to, yeah, right there, he gasses it up and not going anywhere, just trying to put it in reverse, and finally gets a little bit of grip.
Yeah, but that indeed caused a massive stack up here. Puts under caution once again immediately for 60 lap stage number 2. Some of the drivers going to have some early impacts. The Impact Sim Designs chase point standings here. A lot to say, Zach, when it comes to your circumstances here. There were a lot of teams that made adjustments, and I think a lot of those adjustments are going to have to be buffed out in the pits now.
Well, brother, I got plenty to talk about. Let's start with those adjustments, though, at the end of Stage 1. Going through some of the teams here. We talked about 0x Sim Racing earlier. They're going to make tire pressure adjustments, looking to really loosen up the car in center of the corner. Dig 1, also making tire pressure adjustments. They're saying they're really tight, but going over to Dig 2, inside the same camp, no adjustments for them. Aero, also no adjustments as well. They're happy with their cars. Some Aero drivers like Brandon Bowie, really happy with where he's at right now running P2. But then down with BMP, they want to tighten up the car, so a little flip-flop there from their camp. And then just really talking about some of the incidents we just saw there in turn 3 and 4. One thing to note, Nico Garcia has some heavy nose damage. Obviously being at Martinsville, not really going to play a huge factor.
And now the field already getting doubled up for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone coming up. How will they fare on this restart? Green flag is out, backing away. Cox again on the jump.
See a really good launch out of Gallimore there. He's going to get fully alongside Bowie here as they come off turn number 2. See if he can roll down in the 3 and get clear. If that 51's able to fight him on the outside to hold on to P2 here. A little bit ahead for Bowie, but Gallimore's going to hang tight. They're still going to be side by side.
Look at that trouble at the back of the field yet again. Under caution once again, and another spin. Nick King is the one who goes around this time. Puts us right back under the old flag.
King's been sideways a couple of times tonight. That one does bring out the caution. We'll take a look at the top of Hot Sauce Company replay. Inside Nigel Christensen at the 20 right there. He's just going to get down to the inside of the corner here. And, you know, we've seen this story once tonight. Just a little bit too much gas, got loose, and was able to lock it down, not hit anything, bring out the yellow, and he's able to keep on rolling.
Yeah, I'll take a look at this once again. Catalano. Going to be someone to keep an eye on throughout the night for a different reason. Just able to dodge in that circumstance, the 92 surviving here.
Yeah, did a good job there, just giving himself enough space to miss that one. No harm, no foul for Nick King. Obviously, the cause caution, not something any driver ever wants to be a part of, but he's able to roll on and live another day.
So in our caution period early on, Hochschild Munstow is going to have to come down to get repairs done on their machine, to say the very least. But everybody else is going to be just trying to solidify themselves. Already, about 15 laps or so worked on through the stage. Why don't we give an opportunity to profile one of these competitors? Remember, we had something together tonight when it comes to this man, Ryan Catalano. He is your profile for tonight. That profile tonight brought to you by Off Axis Paint from Bellefonte on Pennsylvania. The 38-year-old has no wins yet in the MRL and is the founder of the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company. But there's a lot of different other facts when it comes to the 38-year-old, especially since not only does he race in the sim, he also has a track-prepped Lexus SC300 that's powered by a 2JZ GTE single turbo motor. He calls it a labor of love and horsepower built for the asphalt. He's also one of the people that likes to jump on the hills. He's a slope seeker, if you will. But the winter hits usually is found on the mountainsides at Big Sky, known for his pictures. And of course, the Sauce Boss, as he calls himself, one of the sponsors of this series, where he says he doesn't like just spicy food. He's made it his business to craft seasonings and sauces that bring the heat to your kitchen beyond just being spicy, and is constantly experimenting with flavors with a balance of kick and culinary crafts. We'll get the chance to speak with him during one of these caution periods because we're coming up to a restart. Catalano, for his sake, is doing well. He's in 12th position. They'll work their way past all of the marbles, wave hello to the marbles, and drive their way to the Van Louis Stickers restart zone.
Another huge launch there for the 32 of Cox. Gallimore once again able to hang good with Bowie on the inside. He's getting better each restart here. We'll see once again as they fight side by side through 3 and 4. Gallimore rolling a little bit further ahead this time, but he gets too close to that 32's bump. Takes away that air. Bowie's going to roll hard on the outside. Oh, into him.
Yeah, a little bit of contact pushes Bowie up into those marbles. He'll say hello to all of them again. And that pushes Bowie back to the furthest he's been, to the edges of the top 5. Look at Holden. He's up to the highest he's been now as a result.
Holden now going to work on the inside of Bowie, who's probably not any too pleased inside of that race car under the helmet. So right now he falls to P6 as Holden's able to take that inside line and take that position. Bowie's got to get those tires cooled down, cleaned off, and back going after an incident like that. That car right there to the outside of the car we were on board with, better place, that's Murray in the 22. He's cracked his way all the way up to 7th right now as he tries to complete this pass.
Oh, we have a lockup. Coffee is up in the out of the groove as well. What's going on here? A few different drivers having issues. A little bit of chaos reigning supreme all of a sudden. As we work our way through the corners, Coffee's been pushed further back, just about to where Bowie is. In fact, further back into Matthews now to his door.
Matthews leaning on him a little. Justin, a few of these guys taking Usain Hyde and Marbles a little too seriously. Still contact up there as we look on the front of Catalano. And he turns, and Matthews turns Coffee into the outside wall hard. Better place up in the Marbles as well. Don't think he got into the wall too much. Coffee might have heavy, heavy damage. That was a big hit for Martinsville.
Not again, Coffee. It seems like every time in the past few weeks he's had speed, he's been put up in the wall. Whether it's been for the race lead a couple times over, and now just trying to hold on as a little bit of body work between the two of them. Contact for the rear, and cue ball up for Coffee.
Yeah, Coffee put himself in a bad spot with the mistake. Door slamming with Matthews. I think Matthews might have been a little upset with that and drove it in there and to hit him. Either that or he just misjudged that corner, but didn't look like the 5 was trying to cut the 54 any brakes, that's for sure. And we did get the look of the 54 driving away, Justin. The fender didn't look too bad, but that left front wheel was pushed way in. Definitely massive suspension damage.
Yes, heavy, heavy damage to the 54 machine. It's going to cost him big time here. So, once again, under caution, and all you can say is things continue to build up.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear what Matthews' fault process was there. If that was just a mistake or if that contact was enough to really set him over the edge. It looked like he could have just locked up the brakes a little bit on entry and kind of straight-lined it on accident, but it's Martinsville, Justin, and we see that type of incident happen with a little more intention more often than anywhere else.
All I can say is for the socials, that's going to be the 3rd time for the not to get Coffee in the past couple weeks. But here in the broadcast booth right now, it's going about how we expected it when it comes to the Paperclip tonight, Jeremy, in terms of tempers, in terms of some of the contact popping up. It's been a tough one for a lot of our competitors to keep it clean and stay out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, the first stage, we saw that nice long green flag run to finish it out. Not too much damage going on or any carnage, but we fired it off here. We wrecked right away on the start of the stage. We saw some cars up in the marbles on the restart. Obviously, just saw the incident with Coffee, so starting to look a lot more like a Martinsville race than we were expecting.
Got some more information down from Zach. Zach, you bring some context.
Yeah, just listening in on the chatter from the pit boxes and the Aero Camp, Aaron Matthews, the 5, just saying, hey, I think Coffee came across my nose, downshifted, and just turned in before the corner. So, I mean, Dig, really quiet on their radio. Alex Coffee, nothing to say from his camp. So, some drama, I would say, here in stage 2 at the Paperclip.
Green flag is out for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone again. Off and away with a solid start for the 32. Everybody else continuing to stay fit and working themselves forward here. Side by side for second on back. Look at Harper on his way up.
Yeah, Harper, we saw him early on, had one of those incidents. He's worked his way back nicely. He's just about clear of Gallimore. They're not able to quite pull up all the way on the straightaway. Should get him here about Gallimore. A little wide on exit. There it is. Tim Harper cleared a second. Another caution out. That is Catalano. He may have just blown an edge. He got hit head on in the nose.
Yep, another caution flag yet again, and I think the face says it all. Catalano is not pleased.
I saw a big puff of smoke. It may have just been some of the contact smoke. I thought it may have been the engine that was that darker color smoke we were so used to seeing. He got hit square in the radiator after he was turning around, but we'll take a look at the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay on the outside of Nigel Christensen in that TopItOffSauce.com car. Got clear there, and he comes down into turn 1, and Christensen just gets into that left rear. They stack up going around. He'll get one more hit here, and then a huge hit there to the nose from the 25, or sorry, the 45 and the 25 car. Car put shade into him.
Yep, indeed. Already that Catalano feels that he was being raced clean there. Well, that was a stack up and a half for Johnny Shade. I believe that might be the motor.
Yeah, they were all able to drive away, but that is the dark smoke we are accustomed to seeing with the engine blowing. So huge hits to the radiator definitely can't be too good for all the components in the front of either of those race cars.
Now hard contact, Greg Carr also jumping into the contact, also in the midst of that. Bit of chaos, reigning supreme. So all of that will stack us up again. A few more competitors again will go down pit road. We're already zipping our way halfway through the stage, by the way. Brought to you by RS Button Boxes here this evening. RS Button Boxes, your official sponsor of Stage 2. So right now, as we continue to go about here, eventually, you'd have to think drivers are going to have to start getting those drive-through penalties here, which is going to be the massive concern, to say the least. Zach, you have more information, though, for your sake.
Yeah, just looking at the drivers down on pit road right now. Jim Tree trying to fix some damage. He's going to go down a lap, staying on pit road. But just thinking, like, drivers coming down pit road, trying to fix damage. Say you have a minute 30, right? You're only going to have 20 seconds maybe, depending on where you are in the field, to fix that damage, right? So it's going to get a little frustrating for some of these guys that are starting to get into some incidents where, hey, I can't fix everything right away.
Yeah, but right now, that's going to see a lot more people setting up for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Set that up this time through. So far, Cox has controlled the entire race. He's back underway. Inside line got a better jump by far. Gallimore, look at Bowie cover off one of the hard chargers. Alex Murray is coming to the field.
Yeah, inside line got a great jump for the first two cars, but Holden did not go, and that allowed those guys to instantly jump down to the bottom. Bowie already back to P4 after he got shunted out into the marbles earlier on the last few runs, and he's right behind the car that did that. Paul Gallimore works back clear of Timothy Harper in the 23.
See right now, Bowie in particular really trying to wrap the inside to find his way ahead, but Murray's had to claw his way over the course this entire race. It's been a challenge, to say the very least, for him. Remember the penalty situation. Drive through the start of the race, got a lucky dog on one of the first cautions. Since then, Murray's been slowly but moving his way forward. He's not the only one. Garcia is also in that same conversation right behind him, one of the fast drivers from Darlington.
Yeah, Garcia is kind of coming to the picture out of nowhere here. I don't think we've really mentioned him all day. Up to P6 right now in that 8 machine. Looking off the back of the 22. Those top 5 working their way through 1 and 2 right now. Timothy Harper under threat from Alex Murray. And Cox still leading as he has all evening.
All of them really trying to figure out where's the best attack to move forward at this point over the course of the mid-run. We'll say when it comes to some of the others trying to find their way ahead to the field, checking through some of the others across the pack, Matthews has been able to hold on. The Super Speedway ace, Cody Nagels, is up in 10th, by the way. You still keep an eye on second as how things break down, but keep an eye on that 16 on your pile. One of the red line cars in the field, Jeremy. He's normally one of the top money racers in all Super Speedway racing. Usually dominates those and has a whole fan of different drivers he utilizes and can work with for those races. Tonight, though, he's been able to really play things out solidly for his sake.
He's doing a great job right now, so really working, just consistency here. It's the most important thing. I think there's more parallels than you may think to racing here at a Super Speedway as well, Justin. Kind of a chess match. It's a lot of like, where do I want to position my car? What is positioning my car here going to do for me? And I think that kind of mentality can work in a driver's favor at a place like Martinsville.
By the way, speaking of favors, remember Shane's already been involved in a couple different hits. Both hits the race car destroyed. He'll give up space a little bit to Christensen. Pretty quiet. Well, he gets a little bit loud there. And contact the previous caution. This time had to save the race car. Burns up his equipment that way.
He's doing a good job holding on to that. Back up front, though. Bowie, Gallimore side by side. Bowie trying to work the high side here, Justin. You talked about it earlier. It's feasible to make a pass up there, and he's trying to prove you correct right now. Proof of concept right here. Brandon Bowie on the outside of Gallimore. working that 11 car over, just hanging on that right rear. Just needs to get one good run to get fully alongside. He can pinch him down in the corner.
Yeah, the problem is Gallimore's going a little bit higher up in the groove, pushing Bowie up, and now there's a little bit of scrolliness that might allow the run for the Aero car up top. Bowie hits the curb, or rather the 11 of Gallimore does, and Bowie zips on by because of the hit of the curb.
Being able to take that spot now, he'll set his sights back forward on Matt Cox. Great job by Bowie working his way back through all that traffic without making any mistakes, keeping that car in one piece. And most importantly, right now, keeping those incidents down. As we've talked about, some drivers climbing in those numbers. You don't want to be one of those guys.
You absolutely do not at this point of the course of this race. Murray, by the way, keeping things calm behind his teammate, not pushing the issue. Right now, coming up to 15 to go in the stage. He's your biggest mover of the night so far, with Garcia the second biggest. Both of them did not set qualifying laps, remember. Murray slice and dicing.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks when you close your eyes tonight, you kind of just feel the lapses. It's so repetitive, kind of like a Bristol, where you just get into the rhythm of it. And Murray might not have that feeling because he's been passing cars every lap, so never really got into a rhythm. This is the first run he's really just been settled into a position right now. And we're seeing what that car is made of. It looks like he needs a little bit more to get up there and race with those three that have been running top of it all night, but him and Harper not hanging too far back.
Both of them staying pretty relatively close. These drivers about within 2 seconds of the race leader as we go. See, as everybody plans each other out here. Haven't talked much about Garcia tonight, by the way. I know had some opportunities last time out. They came to Darlington there. Barry Sanders, we haven't talked about too much outside of the incidents tonight. The boss man started in the top 10. Opposite spectrums. The 88's gone backwards, the 8's gone forwards.
Yeah, really good work from the 8. He's got a little bit of nose damage, as you can see right there, but not really impeding him too badly. And Holden right here in 7th, been quiet tonight. He's one of those guys, Justin, really good on the road courses. So we always hear about how it kind of translates here at Martinsville, so see if he can maybe keep taking care of those tires under braking. But not a lot of laps left in the stage, coming to 10 to go next time.
Drivers are going in and out of pit road, by the way, with damage situations. Jim Treat, by the way, was that car just ducked down. He's currently working his way with a hampered race car, but the leaders are going to have to start dealing with heavy traffic. You see that coming up right here with William Owens trying to hold on to a lap. Right now, Owens is 17 laps down. He tries to move up, slips into the marbles, has to lift off the gas, and lets everyone go.
I think Bowie is faster than Cox right now. I can kind of just see it on each end of the racetrack. That car seems to be working a little better, but I said it earlier, Cox is just so good driving defensively. There's nothing Bowie can do to make that pass. He has tried multiple lunges, different looks, and Cox doesn't put a wheel wrong.
It's been perfect tonight. Don't know about leading every lap tonight. That's going to be a challenge, especially with pit strategy later on to the third stage. But at this point, he's made it clear, if you have to beat him one-on-one, you're going to have to figure out a way to move around him, whether the clean way or the bumper way. Look at Bowie try and come off the corner. Gets a little charge. Now we'll take a charge to the inside. Lex to get it done the clean way. Forces the fender for the first time side by side for the race lead all night. Matt Mettler parks it down to the inside in front of them both. Now Cox looking to take advantage of the red line car for lap traffic. Mettler has tech issues, brakes early, holds them both up.
Just as Bowie finally did everything right, now there's a bit of a lottery in front of them. Which line will Mettler pick? I don't think he has a choice to go to the bottom here because Bowie is there. Cox going to try to squeeze the middle. Mettler way up wide. They're still side by side for the lead. Bowie will lead this time by at the line.
5 to go in the stage. Bowie got the edge for the first lap outside the 32 cars realm all night. Bowie does clear. It's Bowie in the lead in stage 2. And now, how badly does Matt Cox want this back? Does he take the points, or does he try and get the lead back to remain in clean air? Now it's Christensen in front of him.
Off the back bumper of Christensen right now. Bowie going to look to the inside. Won't be much of a contest here. He easily files on down on the inside of that 20. Cox with a little bit of a higher entry. Going to try to take advantage of Bowie's shallow entry to get a good run. Yeah, that's Nick King around again. That will be the stage, Justin. Brandon Bowie takes home that stage win in the second stage.
Brandon Bowie coming away with stage 2 as a result of the caution flag. Dominoff Hanson's company replay to show what happened here. It's been a bit of a rough one off turn 4 for King, hasn't it?
Yeah, he just doesn't quite have that car fully underneath of him. You know, the interesting thing with these incidents, at that time he just got into somebody, so Nick King just came a little bit too wide off there and got into the door, and that sent him sideways into the inside wall, but gotta think those incident points must be racking up for a 12.
And well, that will put us back under the caution period once again here for tonight for the Paperclip. For tonight's coverage of the Shamrock Auto Care 250. We'll have the opportunity to speak with some drivers once we allow pit stops to come up. Should see everybody take 4 tires and fuel here, Zach. That should be the expectation, with us going to be having an interesting spot for stage 3. Bowie already winning the race on pit road. And I believe Zach went to the pit crew members room, to say the very least. So, as he gets himself situated, let's situate with Ryan Catalano. We talked about potentially speak with him a little bit here tonight. Well, our off-axis paint driver profile competitor tonight, Ryan Catalano, now in the broadcast booth. Ryan, I know it's been a rough one for you. How are you feeling in the Garlic Reaper car?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, there's some Martinsville things going on, you know, like expected, but yeah, I was really disappointed there. I had working really hard in that first stage to kind of be clean, race nice, and get up there. Actually got up to P9, I think, and then you know, Nigel kind of sent it a little deep, got me around there. So yeah, but now I'm kind of stuck back here in the back, and track position is king here, so it's a lot of work ahead of us.
Now, of course, going to talk quickly here. You have a lot of different things you do. In particular, talk us through about the track car that you have, that you race about in.
Yeah, that's been a really project I've had for probably about 13 years now. Got it bone stock. It's a 92 Lexus SC300, but you know, if anybody's into cars, they know it's essentially the Toyota Supra chassis. So mix and match parts, and yeah, it's got every upgrade you can imagine on. A lot of fun street car too. So
let's get back to your team. We're coming up to the restart.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Got to be quick with those discussions as we're backing away from the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Good start. It's Bowie in control for stage 3.
Huge launch there for Bowie. He is already down and away off the nose of Gallimore, 3 car lengths down in the turn 1. Cox going to settle in the third for this run, so this is the furthest back. We've obviously seen that 32. We'll see what he's able to do. He's got Murray working off him in P4.
Yeah, and you have to wonder what some of the drivers like Murray are now going to do now that they've got the track position. Some of the others, they're trying to get it still. Cornette really has been around 7th to 8th to 9th position most of the night. Really trying to find a way to single file out here.
Cornette's kind of just hung around, done a great job all night keeping that car clean, and that's really one of the most impressive things you can do at Martinsville. So you do that, you'll have a good day. Looking off the back of Cox, he separates himself a little bit from Murray right now, and Gallimore and Bowie still have pulled a little bit away from that 32. So I wonder if he made any changes that are going to hurt him on the front end of this run, make it better on the long run so he doesn't get beat out like he did at the end of the second stage.
Exactly here, and you can see just how much you have to saw the wheel almost. Well, not saw the wheel. I mean, how much wheel you have to input in, Jeremy. It's a lot more than most of our tracks, and for a car that, in many cases, you want to try and minimize steering rotation at a lot of tracks, it's a bit of an adjustment. We have to go, for some cases, 45 degrees on that case. Zach, what do you have to say about the Cornette machine?
Yeah, just watching the past couple of weeks, obviously with Darlington, Chris Cornette got into a lot of issues, a lot of incidents, right? Some were his fault, some weren't. But I think tonight his driving style has really changed inside that car, right? I think overall he's a little cleaner, right? He's making sure he's not putting himself in bad positions. And really his aggressive driving style, I haven't seen too much tonight. Will that ramp up later on in the race? Absolutely, right? But I think right now he's really put himself in a solid position here inside the top 10.
Caution flag is out, heart of the field. And we're back under yellow. It is Nigel Christensen that's gone around this time at the 20. Puts us back under the yellow flag, and the 20 will once again try and gather back up. 23rd for him. He was the last car on the lead lap at the time of the spin.
Yeah, the benefactor of our last free pass here creates a new opportunity for Alex Coffey. This time you'll see here he just dives in on the inside of the 12 and gets up in there, and the King, nothing the King could do. Just a little bit of an overdrive by Nigel Christensen. That is probably number 4 incident points, unfortunately, for the 12 this time.
So, dude, that's his second incident of the night. Wow. That look almost makes a brake bias and missing the braking zone at the same time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think he tried to turn a little too aggressively while under braking, probably had a lot of rear brake dialed into it, and when you do it that late, that is going to be the result every time. You cannot drive this racetrack that way, and Christensen learned that the hard way right there.
So that will re-rack and stack him yet again. Greg Carr, good view of this. Sees the cue balls in front and drives by them all.
Did a good job avoiding that, but that caution, like I did mention, Coffey back in the lead lap. We'll see how much damage he has left of that race car. This is the worst track, Justin, for VZLs being so quick. It hurts us with a lot of the fun stuff. Shame we couldn't hear more from Catalano before.
And as we continue to settle on in and get things sorted for these drivers here, the interesting thing for a lot of these competitors is now going to be, how do you plan things out? When do you take the tire sets here, Jerry? What's the plan for that for a lot of these drivers?
Yeah, you're just trying to put yourself in the best spot possible for track position at the end of the race. So whatever call you think that is going to be is the one you're going to make. There's no way to really know the true correct answer. VLs are going to fall how they fall, and whoever gets really the luckiest out of that will be in the best position. But the most important thing is to have a good race car, and we've seen the guys that do so far, and they will probably be the contenders at the end of the race.
So we'll reset up for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. This time through, Bowie remains in front with Gallimore, and Cox now third, Murray in fourth, Harper in the top 5 alongside Holden, Cornett, and Fetter Place. Matthews and Sanders has driven himself from 16th to 10th on the play to move his way forward. So we get set to go for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone right here. So far it has been a little bit of a tricky one for some. Bowie makes his way through. Green flag is out, back and away.
Great launch right there for Bowie on the inside. You see Gallimore, oh, contact from Cox. They're 4 or 5 wide, trying to get out of this without wrecking. I don't know how they have cars scattered everywhere, somebody in there hot, and that's going to send Murray around into the outside wall. Oh, huge hit from Catalano.
Stack up.
Wrecking.
They're all going to slam in. Caution flag is out. Medina involved. We're back under yellow. Nick King saying he got heavy contact. You'll see the Top It Up Hot Sauce Company replay. Very active. Murray drove through the field, and this turned ugly quick.
Yeah, just so much chaos going on. I don't think you can blame anybody. Matthews in there definitely a bit deeper than he wanted to, but he's got a car on his inside that he's trying not to get wrecked by, and nowhere to go for Catalano into the left front of that car.
Yeah, that absolutely decimated the field. 22's now got left front problems with that situation, and tempers we're hearing are flaring. Catalano hard at Murray.
Yeah, big contact right there, and everybody else piling in there, so just had to get out of that with what you could. Some heavy damage for some of the better cars we've seen so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, when it comes to this situation. Now, this is going to be how things are going to play out for potentially a while with the way tempers are going to flare up. But now, you'll see Medina going around hard of the field. That's why he was not happy for his sake on the radio side in that conversation. Nigel Christensen, let's see what happened here.
Yeah, he's just on board right there. Just a lot of tire smoke, nothing much he could do. See the 24 there in front of him. The car we haven't talked about too much is hanging around in the back, out through back clean as well. See William Owens' Zero's outside. Catalano right there in the Murray. Yeah, I mean, that all started with Galmore and Cox, though, Justin. Just contact between those two teammates, and Galmore got shoved way back there and really set this all off down in turn 3.
Now, so a huge stack up like Legos, to say the very least. Take a look at the Eagles. Here when he got the curb, this causes that up the track.
Yeah, hitting the curb here will do that to you, so it's something to really avoid. There's a lot of marbles down there as well on the racetrack just before the curb that will kind of get you a little sideways and send you into the curb too.
Puts under the caution flag yet again as a result of that situation. And now really, it's been a tricky one. Zach, what have you been hearing as a result of this?
Well, obviously we saw the replay there. A lot of drivers involved in that one, but I think the biggest thing, Alex Murray now 1 lap down. Alex Coffey also 1 lap down. So something really developing there.
Field is backing away. Restart already underway for the field. That's how quickly the cautions go here. Coffey and Murray are amongst those now a lap down. As look at the 97. He's looking to join the fun of the Aero camp up front. He tries to make it a Team 1-3.
Yeah, doing a good job right there on the inside. So Harper, Bowie in front, Holden trying to work that outside lane. This is the furthest we've seen him up all night, but Cox, after that contact on the last restart, a little more conservative on the bottom this time. Still, oh, huge loose from Holden. Cornette around in the background. We stay green for now, but he's in the inside wall. There is the caution.
Back at our yellow, Cornette has gone around. So there goes that goodwill and good situation for his sake. He does not look happy.
No, he does not, but nothing really to be upset about there when it comes to other drivers. Just mad at himself, of course. Every driver would be upset making a mistake of that when you run so great all night long.
Brandon Feder plays apologize for the last caution. Yep, just lost it on his own.
Yeah, Cornette on board here. You see him down in the third gear into that corner, side by side in front of him, and just a little bit too much gas right there. You see the RPM spike really quickly. That's the tire spinning.
That checkup really got the very end of it, it looked like, almost in that circumstance. Look at Holden. That almost felt like, you know how the feeling always on iRacing has been, someone in front gets loose, you get doubly loose? That almost hit there too.
Yeah, definitely a little bit there as well with the air. Could be a factor as well. 2 cars side by side. One of them kind of puts a bigger pocket in the air when it gets sideways. Can really affect the handling of your race car as well if you're in Cornette's shoes there.
Puts us back under the yellow. Another caution period. We still have more than 100 laps to go here, Jeremy. So what are you telling your teammates in the midst of this?
Yeah, I mean, right now you're kind of trying to get guys to calm down. It's been a lot of mistakes in quick succession by people, so you don't want to be one of the next guys to make one of those mistakes. And it's really just talking that over. How's your car handling? What are you going to do next? And, you know, if you're around your teammates like the 32 and 11, where you're probably discussing not running each other over in front of the field.
Well, what do you say about this, Zach? You have more information.
Yeah, sitting down on pit road right now, listening to the Aero 2 camp, and I think the biggest thing right now is the conversation of track position over tires, right? Plenty of cautions right now. We haven't really seen a big run in terms of length of laps like we did in stage 1, maybe at the end of stage 2. But right now with all these cautions, those guys are talking about, hey, do we come take tires or do we stay out, take the track position and just hold on? So we'll see how those heat cycles really affect the car. But I think the biggest thing is we're watching the 97 of Kyle Holden, right? He's P4 right now. Why would he pit and give up that track position?
That's a great point here, absolutely. You want to hold on to it at this point for as long as possible, especially how things have gone, Jeremy. And we're going to see how things go. Thank you very much, Zach, once again.
You see the Harper pinching our leader down really hard here. Not something you're really used to seeing here, but they're coming to restart zone here. Justin will get back underway.
Here we go, Van Louis Circus restart zone. Green, 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 backing away. Good start for Bowie. All of this as well. Timothy Harper gets himself in line. 2 by 2. Here in a passing, Ariomi even picked up a 1 car, but everybody else zips their way through.
did a good job right there, right now. Bowie pulling a little bit away from Harper. Cox back into that third position. Holden still working that high side. That's Aaron Matthews there. He's furthest up front. We've seen him all day in the 5. What can he do now with some better track position?
Yeah, that's going to be a huge test. Remember, Matthews already dealing with damage. Garcia, he's been trying to float his way up like Murray was, but the difference is he's now got a functional car. Garcia really finding a way to rip that entry, it looks like. That's going to help him on exit 2. Good line for the gate.
Yeah, good job there by Garcia on the outside. This is him cracking the top 5. Still had nose damage on that machine, but, you know, I think Zach mentioned earlier, just not the racetrack where it's going to affect anything too much, and he's done a good job of proving that correct here. Working his way off the back bumper of Kyle Holden on 97. Holden doing a good job maintaining with Cox right now. I think Cox definitely made an adjustment because that car is not firing off like we've seen it fire off all night long, but Bowie has pulled it over second in leader now. This is the furthest we've seen a leader get out.
Yeah, this gap is really growing out to the largest anyone's had by more than a second. Is this him just trying to build a cushion and get to the lap cars faster, or is this just him just letting it loose now that he's in clean air?
I think Bowie's just the best car, and he's got the track position now, and he's really able to show us that. So just driving away from the field a little bit, and he is continuing to grow that gap every time, almost a second and a half lead now, and I think that's just going to continue to trend that direction.
See how the pace really settles on in. Remember, Sanders has been on the move. He's got Wilson in front. But Wilson allowed the chance to move forward. Remember, Sanders was beached earlier on in this race, was 16th earlier.
Yeah, some damage on that car too from that incident still, but he did go a lap down when that happened, so he's recovered nicely. Here's Kenny Reel in the 99, working off the back bumper of Catalano. Honestly, P13 right now for Ryan Catalano. He's done a great job recovering considering all the incidents we've seen that car in. So right now, he'll take another look off back right there. Got the camera on still, and he's coming back forward.
Catalano, at the very least, from the contact situation, doing very well. Look at this right now, by the way. Some of the others, at the very least, just trying to make sure they stay out of trouble. Corey Moore, so far, top 11. Feel like we haven't talked about his name too much tonight for the dig camp, but Moore has pretty much just been doing what some people are probably hoping for, staying quiet and then waiting for everybody to destroy each other, while Bowie destroys the timesheets.
Don't recall mentioning that name tonight, but over 2 seconds now, Brandon Bowie. I mean, that's a massive lead at Martinsville right there, and it is growing every lap. You see some smoke pilling out of pit road, so we have to turn the car off. That engine did expire, so that's where that is coming from. Nothing of note on the racetrack, but Bowie just continuing to haul away as we get a look off this right rear. You'll see how much of that racetrack he is using, Justin. He gets right up to that fence on the straightaway.
See just how much he's pushing ahead here right now. His lap times, when it comes to his pace, are in the 19.1s. Everybody else is 3/10 off the mark. As here comes the battle for 10th, Gallimore tries to hug the inside.
Gallimore working his way back forward for some of his issues. We've seen tonight he is a very fast race car. Got a good machine under him in the 11, so expect that climb forward to continue right now as we still have a lot of race left for him to make up some of those positions.
Cornette, remember, trying to make up his own position, 17th. It's a long ways down. What's the saying? Does he look happy to you, Jeremy? Because I think he's bumping and banging, so there's that.
I'd say he just looks focused right now. He's trying to manage what he's got going on there behind the wheel. So much going on. Martinsville, he's got Murray off there behind him. I believe Murray is a lap down currently, so that would not be for position. But he is working over Mark Sanchez there in that 29. That is for position. Cornette trying to recover. And I'll tell you right now, when you got a car behind you that's a lap down and car in front of you that's a lead lap, and I do think Murray is faster than Cornette, as we've seen throughout the night. Murray very quick. That can actually be a bit of a detriment because that guy's not going to try to pass you. He just keeps putting air on that spoiler every corner, lap after lap, and it makes it a lot harder for you to do what you're trying to do in your machine.
By the way, Alex Murray here was in the Lucky Dog spot. It's Matt Metler that's instead in that spot now. That's going to change over the course of the run. Catalano. See, keep in mind, with this package, you have to be up on the gears and be able to adapt and shift. And you can see just how much he's working that H pattern shifter he's got. Or essentially, what would be in this case an H pattern shifter with a sequential plate in most cases here, Jeremy. Have to work that up and down the gears to make sure you're on point with it. Because if you're on point, you're cooking your tires or you're blowing your motor.
Almost certainly using a sequential with this generation of race car. Blake Caulfield just had a bit of an excursion almost into the infield. He got turned out of turn 2, hit pit road. Might have had a black flag that he'll have to get cleared out of that, but was able to keep it green because he was so far off the racetrack. As we look at the action still continuing here, you see Moore right there in that 19 working off his teammate Wilson. That is for the last spot in the top 10.
Yeah, they've lost a fair bit of ground, though, wouldn't you say? Because minutes ago, it was side-by-side for the top 10 between Catalano and Moore. Moore's kind of regressed back here a little bit, near 3 seconds. That was a couple minutes ago we'd seen them before.
It happens quickly here. I think it's a little bit exaggerated by Gallimore being as fast as we've seen so far tonight because he kind of drove up to the group in front of him. Look up in the front of Bowie right now. I mean, that's 7, 8 lap cars already right there in the picture for him. Matt Coxville just popping up there is the fastest lap so far this evening, but Bowie still pulling away over a 3-second lead over Timothy Harper now, just about 4 seconds back to Cox in third, 5 to fourth position, 97 to Holden, and Garcia holding 5th, 6th position, or 6 seconds, sorry, off of our lead.
Now already zipping our way through the lap counts, less than 90 to go, already about 85, 84 to go. Bowie now having to deal with traffic for his own mark, and this was the risk of how Party was pushing. I remember back from the days of when it was a pit reporting with eNASCAR, Keegan Leahy had a dominant day at Bristol. First run of the race, Jeremy, he absolutely tried to wax the field, then got caught in lap traffic and got caught by his competitors in the traffic. The funny thing is, he backed up the pace the next runs after that to make sure he got to the lap traffic slower, and as a result, the leaders behind him couldn't really get a chance with lap traffic to try and pass him. So do you try and what do you think the play is here with Bowie? Do you try and switch to that where you limit the amount of time in traffic, or do you think he's just going to stay running away like this?
Yeah, that play works because you save your tires doing that and you give more time for those guys in the back to cook them, so when you do get to them, you have even more of a speed discrepancy. The caveat here is that Bowie is so much faster than everyone else in the field that he doesn't even need to think about it. I mean, he's just driving around these guys on the outside without question, and it's really not impeding his progress at all. As you see, he still has a 3-second lead over 23.
Yeah, you see, that's going to also, for that point, going to put as many cars in between you. I know that's the benefit of that opportunity at a track like the Paperclip. If the leader's not matching up with you on pace, that's going to be pretty big. Harper's not even at the traffic yet. Kenny Real, how is Real doing? Well, he's 13th. Right now, his red line machine so far looking for a way to poke around the Dick car.
The even bigger thing here, too, just back to what we were talking about with Bowie for a moment, is as he adds cars between himself and Harper, I think Harper will have a harder time getting through traffic. So the quicker he picks those cars off is the more time Harper loses when he catches those cars as well, is another way to look at it. And a lot of the times those cars will not fight the second place cars hard, but I think with the way this field has been progressing tonight that they're going to impede the 23 a good bit.
Paul Gallimore, by the way, checking in on him. He's up to 8th, by the way. More damage, but isn't going to impact him because it's not really on the spoiler. Better place, though. Decent night, to say the least, in the 34. He's been holding his own, 3rd in the point standings for a reason. He's been pretty consistent this season. Better place, looking for a 4th top 10 rather of the season.
Better place another guy that we see running around that top 10 quite often and getting a good result tonight as things run. See Metler way up there. Oh, big check up there for Corey Moore. Metler kind of came down at a really bad time for Moore off the exit of that corner. Metler doing his best to stay out of the way. Oh, and he's causing an incident with Chris Cornett. He just got loose up there and those marbles got into Cornett. They stayed green. That one will not have Chris happy.
Definitely not, as you see Murray trying to scoot his way on through. Murray 21st at the moment, trying to race down for a lucky dog. Well, at least clear on by. Here, there's been some side-by-side in front of the leader, by the way. Bowie is in the thick of it, a few car lanes behind all this. Better place, just like Gallimore on go for good measure, also in 1 and 2. So all sorts of give and take in some circumstances, and others saying, let's take everything. There's no tomorrow after it all.
Yes, the drivers definitely showing different levels of patience right now. You see the most positions gained there throughout the evening tonight. Aaron Matthews was top that board, Fetter place. One of those drivers kind of running just around where he started this evening. So right now he actually has dropped a few positions. Blaine Wilson there at 18. He's the driver that's had a pretty good night so far. Working off the back of Nagels right there in the 10th position at 16. We talked about Nagels. He's kind of hung around 10th all night long, Justin. I don't think we've seen him really running in any other position.
Yeah, he's been pretty steady around that position, especially since around stage 2. Once those in the mid-backpack in stage 3, or stage 1 should say. Gallimore all of a sudden is one of the faster cars at the racetrack, by the way. As he goes about, he's now up to the 7th position with his progression to the field and slowly picking him off. Next car up is Garcia for 6th, should say, or for 5th.
Yeah, Gallimore has shown that he's had that pace all night long, just unfortunately had a little bit of bad luck there to start the stage, but he is recovering nicely right now, and he is continuing to pick them off one by one as he catches them. Should be in for a top 5 as things run.
Yeah, as you see with Sanders in particular, hearing with a couple of the drivers, just some of the discussion points is quite simply, don't want to hold you up in some of the circumstances here. Want to be able to just drive without any problems. You don't want to end up building up enemies over the course of a long, long run. This leads to an interesting point here on what's the fuel mileage going to look like, because I've seen estimates reach as high as 150 here, Jeremy, for Martinsville. Do you wait that long? Do you just wait for the caution flag, I'm guessing, in this circumstance?
With our yellows, there's a shot they make it to the end. I'm not quite sure where they stand right now. You're probably going to run as long as you can comfortably on your tires, so you can't afford to really short hit here with the threats of cautions, but Cox right now working up the back of Harper. You can see all the traffic these guys are working through, and I do think the prediction was correct. They are not moving through traffic as efficiently as Brandon Bowie, who now has over a 5-second lead on Timothy Harper in the 23.
That's absolutely outrageous here. Zach, what do you have to say so far as the lead continues to grow?
Yeah, just walking up and down pit road, doing my best Steve Post impression here, and talking to Zero X Sim Racing. Chris Cornett has some wheel damage after that incident with Corey Moore, so that's something to notice there as he runs that 83 machine around the Paperclip. Listening in on Redline Racing, Ryan Catalano talking about going a lap down to Brandon Bowie and the speed that 51 car has. Aero, though, specifically Aero 1, no comments out of them. Very quiet, and Dig as well, so we'll see what the rest of the teams do here heading into the final 50, 60 laps of this race.
Coming up to 64 to go. Thank you very much once again. Aero, mind you, is a 2-3 in the points, but a caution is out. So there goes the fuel strategy conversation. Remember that point you just made about Cornett? I think he just added more wheel damage, Zach, because right in front of you, he just slammed the wall down.
Unfortunate there for Cornett. We had an incident a few laps where it didn't bring out the yellow. This one did. Brandon Bowie did not want to see that as he was walking away with the win. That 83 entering the closed pit. I think that tells you what you need to know about the damage on that machine.
Perrodori very active, topping off Hot Sauce Company replay. Zach's already went to sprint that direction to see what happened there. Oh, that was a big snap left to the right, wasn't it?
Yeah, just overcorrected there on the exit, got loose. We saw it earlier with him as well, so I think just another one of those guys a little bit too loose on the exit. He had just gotten lapped by Bowie, probably pushing really hard, trying to keep with that leader to stay in that lucky dog position as he laps more and made a mistake.
Pit road becoming very busy right now, by the way, in live action. Brandon Bowie just completed service, is off and away with a 4-tire call. It's the first one out and away. Catalano was your lucky dog this time through. So as we get set to go here under the caution period, see how things get sorted for some of the competitors here in the next moments or so, Jeremy.
Yeah, see Bowie right there just pacing his way around all by himself. About the furthest you'll ever see a leader leave pit road at Martinsville, probably. He had such a gap on the guys behind him and a ton of cars in between them. So they'll all catch up now. They'll be re-racked back with Bowie here. We'll have just under 60 to go when we go back green. So a little bit shorter than the length of our stages to get it finished up here.
Zach's now caught up. One of the drivers officially out of the race, Jim Tree.
Yeah, standing here down on pit road with Jim Treat of the 6 machine. Jim, you're out of the race, 81 laps down. Talk about what happened there in that incident.
I can't remember exactly what lap we were on. I was trying to find it, but I think I made a pretty aggressive move on Nick King there. I got myself clear, but, you know, it's kind of the price I pay for that move, probably the way I'm seeing the replay on it. Yeah, it ended my night. It shot me off into the corner. He, I think, drove past his brake point a little bit, and you know that is what it is. He's probably where he was braking. But,
well, thank you, Jim. Quickly, what are your thoughts really going into Bristol after an off week?
Well, I want to keep the car together. We had a good set. We had a good set here, and we were really running good. So,
well, thank you, Jim.
Just keep the car in one piece and finish the race. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Back up to you guys in the booth. Green flag.
Thank you.
Straight back to his team. We're back on our way with Bowie in front. 4 tires abound for the field. Oh, and contact. Gallimore sent his way forward, gained a couple spots on pit road. Able to get alongside Holden back there. But Harper trying to match up with Bowie with under 60 laps to go.
I'll give Gallimore credit. He made that corner pretty good considering how shallow it was. I don't know how much he watched into Holden as much as Holden may have come down not expecting the 11 to really be there. Really good aggressive dive, and Gallimore back to P4. Harper right now P2, just trying to stay closer to Bowie this run, but Bowie already stretching out that lead over half a second, Justin.
Now right now, really getting up on the short run yet again. Bowie just has a rocket ship, it feels like, it seems. The way things are playing out here. So at this point, how do you stop the rocket ship from launching and finishing its job of going to Mars here? Because at this point, he's going to be on planet Mars in a couple minutes.
I do think the one that launched a couple hours ago is actually going around the moon. Justin, I don't think we're headed to Mars just yet, but Bowie driving away from the field. I don't think there's going to be anything to stop him unless some lap traffic gets into him or some bad luck with the way the cautions fall.
You know how busy I've been preparing for everything else? I didn't really realize there was a moon launch today. Hearing Gallimore just had an issue. You see him drop back all of a sudden here. Lost a lot of ground. He was just trying to get around what it looked like Matt Cox and nearly ran him over after Cox scraped the wall.
You see this look here. Cox way wide in front of him. Just into the wall, like you said. Gallimore got way loose trying to stay out of him, but something more happened here because Cox dropped way back in. So Cox got up in the marbles, and Gallimore actually gained a spot out of all of that somehow.
Yeah, had to give up a couple spots. Remember, had to lift again with the marbles. Nagels is now over the bumper of Cox, so the first major mistake for the 32, who was the dominant car in stage 1. All causing a little bit of trouble for the Bears machine. The Bears to the back, or to the mid-pack at least. But, you know who's back into the lead lap at the very least? Alex Murray is in the situation hearing. He did with the caution. Hold on, Johnny Shade sideways. No caution, we stay green. 45, here we got turning 1 and 2.
Ton of momentum lost there for Johnny Shade. Kept it going forward. We are on board. Murray took the wave around under that caution and has still driven himself up into that 15th position on older tires than some of those cars that he's around. Really good machine. He needs one more yellow to get some fresh stickers on that car and see what he can do with it.
See a little bit of bumping and banging with Garcia trying to work his way on the inside of the Wilson machine. And a lot of these paint schemes, notice when it comes to dig, always try to reference at least some real-world resemblance. Not sure which scheme that comes from for the 18th
Bob's Furniture, Denny Hamlin scheme, pretty sure.
Great point. There's the teal. You're right.
But definitely maybe not the best give scheme, but you are correct that they do try to replicate a lot of those, and I would say that is a pretty accurate replication of one of those paint schemes, obviously with the Shamrock Auto Care on the side of that car.
Yeah, especially with the gold instead of the green you would expect for that. I know Alex Murray's running a different color when it comes to your race sponsor tonight. On the hood also, Shamrock green is on Harper's car. Kenny Rio working his way through. You see him, how he's trying to play things out in the top 12, by the way. He's right behind Matthews. It's been an interesting one, but the recovery is on for Cox. He's already back to 6th.
TV front of the 88 frowning a little bit right there from its contact earlier, so that's going to let Cox back on through. Cox obviously has been one of the better cars all night. That is a huge punch in the middle of that nose on the 88, so good job to him to hang on right now in the top 10 as he has since he got that damage a while back. But Murray looking off the back of Catalano here, trying to pick up another spot. That'll be for 14th.
You see just how much Murray really trying to regain himself to get at least a solid points day, because the thing is with this format, it's about solid points. As somebody, I believe, hit the inside wall, by the way, with that smoke. Bowie is amongst those now in lap traffic, by the way. So as we go about here, 1, going to be an issue for Bowie again, having to get around these cars. 2, some of these drivers are really having issues holding onto the machines.
Yeah, even right there, Murray big loose, but you see that experienced car control with him instantly got that thing pointed back straight. I think it was Owens down there on the inside wall that we did see in the 30s, so he is several laps down and has just been kind of ticking away with his issues. But right now, Bowie stretching out that lead again, doesn't want to see any of these guys go around.
Yeah, right now, Bowie just...
Oh, Matthews around.
Caution, caution, caution. Back at our yellow, the 5 has gone around in turn 2. Top it off, Hustle's coming to replay coming up. That was in the battle with Blaine Wilson for 10th.
Gonna look here at what happened to the 5 on our Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. Working on that 18 car that we were just talking about in that Joe Gibbs-esque paint scheme. Got down to the inside, drove it in a little bit deep there, but it stuck for him, and then Wilson just came back into the left rear and sent that car sideways. Good job of Matthews to hold on to it without any further problems.
Now you can see Wilson was passed originally to the inside. Then just got the run back to him. Gave a shot.
You can hear it there. It wasn't really much throttle applied back to it. It was just kind of the 5 over slowing center and the 18 not reacting. Definitely all in the 18 getting into him there, but nothing of ill intent from that look.
So a lot of people here under the caution period. So as we go about here over the course of this one, it's going to be the interesting thing too on now. Gallimore's back up at the front. It looks like his car in the last pit stop, he was able to fix up some of the back bumper actually. Does Gallimore have a shot, you think, to have the speed to be able to keep up with Bowie?
It's tough to call. I think Bowie is just the class of the field. Gallimore's been one of those guys that I think has had these runs where he's been really, really strong. And if he gets one of those runs where he just hits his marks right and gets Bowie into a bad spot, maybe he can take advantage of it. But I really do think that 51 is just a mile better than everybody right now.
So we're coming up to the Van Louis Stickers restart zone once again. Getting ready with 38 to go when we get back racing. At the moment, it's Bowie up at the front, Harper in second, Gallimore and Holden, followed by the 34 of Fitter Place in the 88 of Sanders, Garcia, followed by Nagels, Wilson, and Reel, Moore, and Cox. Amongst your top 12. Let's take a listen to the sights and sounds from Martinsville Speedway. Let's rev up those motors as we get back underway. Here we go. Contact in the corner. Holden pushed up the racetrack. The 97 out of the groove. He gets moved all the way to the back. Caution is out at the back. We're back in yellow as Mark Sanchez in the 29 went spinning.
Yeah, Sanchez around there in the back in that 29 machine, getting it back rolling. So we'll see what happened here at the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. Well, it's the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company car that sent the 29 around, Justin.
Yep, bye-bye. See right now just how Catalano was providing pressure in the first place. Already a little love tap there, a little bit of air off there, a little bit more love tap, and a little bit of a finish the job.
I gotta give Catalano credit here. Quite the marketing strategy, Justin. Got the replay sponsor and sponsoring the car as it, brings it out on the onboard. Big hot sauce fan myself. Maybe marketing's gonna work on me a little bit here, rubbing it off.
Oh, look at that. We have a lot of strategy starting to come up for a couple drivers in the back. Holden coming on down. Wilson's come on down. Coffee is down again. A few of the others. When it comes to contact here, Zach, pit road becoming busy. Strategy coming into play.
Yeah, definitely. And we were just talking down in the red line camp, and Ryan Catalano, the 92, involved in that incident. He came down and took fresh tires. That's why you saw the contact there with Mark Sanchez in the 29, who's not on fresh tires, right? So now the conversation is, hey, if I come take fresh tires, am I going to be able to get through the field cleanly? That's going to be something to watch here as we get in the final stages of this race.
Take a look at the stint lanes. Keep in mind, you can see the top 8. Look at that stark difference. With some of these cautions, last caution, a lot of people took fresh tires. That is a big play because here's the thing now, Jeremy. You come down from here on out, you're likely not winning this race.
Yeah, definitely, and this is what we talked about, the heat cycles on these tires. What will that do for them? Though that 28-7, though, from Real to Cox, Murray, those guys, that was a 20-lap green flag run. That was not under yellow, so there is a 20-lap difference in the rubber on those cars. Maybe more like 18, because obviously a caution lap here and there after the stops. But Murray, big break there. He took the wave around, got those tires. Cox, he's been trying to recover from some incidents, got those tires. It'll be interesting to see what those two do working through the front of the working through back to the front of this field. They were top 5 cars earlier, both very strong, typically at the front of these fields. Them on fresh tires, not what the leaders would want to see.
What's the saying? Zach said it was track position versus tires as a storyline. It is becoming the storyline when it comes to the deciding factors for the win here. We're coming to 32 to go. Bowie remains in control. He'll plan things out up at the front of the field. Green is now out for the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Oh, and Harper nearly hit him in the fender. Up the racetrack goes the 23. They get single filed out. Gallimore gets himself clear also as the top 3 settle in. Great car in the back of the field had to let everybody go, and Bowie missed the corner. Bowie missed the corner for the race lead.
He completely biffed it there. That is going to give the 23 of Harper the lead. I think he was trying to squeeze in on that restart, barely got into the 51, but then the 51 went and made a mistake of his own down in the 3. Bowie so strong, though, clears the 11, back to P2. He'll get right back on the horn trying to get to the lead.
Looking to try to retake it quickly. Harper covers it off. Here comes Bowie to the inside. Blocked off. Harper looks to play the games up in front. Bowie dives hard to the inside. Gets covered off again.
Showing where that car is stronger, already back, putting a fight on. Oh, that could have been close there. Harper just leaves enough room, didn't quite squeeze the 51 all the way, might have sent himself around if he did. Bowie back with positioning on the inside for the lead of Harper. They'll roll through the center in 1 and 2. Bowie so strong in exit, just gonna power off and clear him down the back straightaway.
It's been an impressive drive tonight from Bowie, but now he's gonna have to get to work. Gets himself around Harper, zips his way forward, under 30 to go. One mistake doesn't cost him. What a drive back to the point for the 51.
Shows you what that car is made of. Dirty tires, mistake, getting right back into the right state of mind, right back to the lead, takes it and is already driving away 0.4 of a second that time at the line.
Here's the big thing though, the Freshies are in 6th place at the moment. And that's going to be another thing to keep an eye. Can Cox drive his way to the front? 20 lap difference, remember, on the rubber.
If it goes green, it will not matter. Bowie is going to get away from all these guys behind him as they work through that traffic. We get yellows, though. We keep re-racking them as those guys kind of bunny hop their way up the running order. That's where you can see those tires really come into play. Some smoke there off of Nagels in the 16. He locked up those front tires. That's going to allow Matthews to work back into the 9th position in the 5. There's going to be that yellow.
Oh no! Stack up in front of Sanders.
Or not.
Not going to bring it out. Nagels has contact from that. 3 wide. Catalano's into the 16. Teammates now slamming. Medina drives by them all.
Coffee slipping through in that picture there. Nagels back to the inside in the 92. Nothing quite there for him right now. Back up front though, on board. Garcia in the 8, working off the back of Feder Place in the 34. If you didn't look too far back behind him, there's Gallimore though up front looking on the inside of Harper. He wants P2 back to see what he can do, but there's Cox right now working. He gets to the inside of the 8 for P5. Almost contact there between those cars in the back of our picture.
Yeah, everybody trying to really let out the crazy caution.
Big wreck.
Back in our yellow, 23 to go.
Christensen on the front straightaway. He got around, some cars piled into it. Owens driving away now at the 38 as well. That will change quite a bit here. I believe Cox might have gotten that 5th position. He'll be on the inside of this restart if he did. No, he did not. The 8 was ahead.
Back in our yellow, let's take a look at this. That's already a low line, isn't it? Wow, everybody got loose.
See heavy contact there for Johnny Shade. Cornette in that one. There's Greg Carr as well in the picture. This was at the very back of the field. There's Sanchez on the inside, drove it in deep, put that 38 off into the marbles. 20 got onto the curve, and just, I mean, a lot of people making mistakes all around each other right there.
What a sequence, to say the very least, once again there, as people slam the curb up, down, everywhere. This is going to put extra emphasis on the potential freshies. See, Carr dodged it all in the slalom course.
I will say Cox being on the outside with those fresh tires could work to his advantage here versus the bottom. Might have gotten pinned in on the bottom. As those guys try to file into the inside on this restart with the fresher tires, he might be able to roll top and pick off 1 or 2 of them if he hits it right. So we'll see how that plays up here. You see all these marbles getting tossed around under caution as they have all night long. They have built up so much. You got to get those tires clean before a restart like this.
So now it becomes a true test coming up here. Keep in mind, Maurice Amunso's flying to the field also, and not just Matt Cox. Murray's up in 7th. He's the 2nd on new tires here, Jeremy. This is going to get wild.
Yeah, it definitely will. Got to keep their heads on their shoulders, though. You can't just drive through these guys trying to get it. We've seen Murray, he's won 2 straight races, Justin, but he keeps having these penalties. He's been involved in incidents, maybe causing 1 or 2, and you know, you got to get out of one of these races clean. You can't keep doing that every week, putting yourself in a hole. Sure, he's dug his way out of it once again here tonight, actually on 2 occasions, but you know, you just don't want to do that as a driver. You got to keep your head clean here and get to the front any way you can without wrecking another race car.
So we're coming up to the restart here. Well, some people want to see the destruction of the paperclip, others want to see the destruction of the race cars. Right now, it's Bowie in control. Harper in 2nd, Gallimore, Feder Place in the top 4. Garcia rounds out the top 5. Look at the biggest movers. Garcia is your biggest. Murray is in contention for that if he can get by 1 or 2 more cars. But the leaders are off and away to the Van Louis stickers restart zone, and the outside's not going. They're stacking up, they're crashing. Harper gets it saved. They all slam instead. Here we go, it's the big one.
Matt Cox had the absolute worst luck he could have gotten with that entire sequence of events on the restarts. On the other hand of that coin, though, or I should say the other side of that coin, Alex Murray won the lottery, P4 out of that. We'll take a look at what happened on the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay.
Yeah, look at this. This is just an absolute traffic jam and a half. Harper got loose, and then Cox got the worst of it.
Yeah, you know, I said it was some bad luck on the 32, and we heard Harper on the radio in the session, Justin, a little mad at Better Place. Upon further review, this incident's a little bit on the 32. He kind of shipped the 34 down in there. We'll take a look at Barry Sanders on board here. Can't really see anything yet. It's even worse in the cockpit than it is on the roof, and just now he's getting stacked up, nowhere to go, and just at the last moment, bam, into the right front of that 32.
Yep, that was all with a massive amount of checking up there. Harper spun the tires in that big sequence. That's an important thing to mention here, though, Jeremy. That is a big spark of it.
Definitely did not catch out on the first look through, but then the 32 definitely did get into the 34 in the checkup and just kind of unraveled from there. I don't think there's much that Cox could have done looking at it that way.
So another yellow flag. Zach, that destroyed a lot of people on freshies, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we were talking about track position versus tires, right? That was the name of the game. That's the story so far in stage 3, right? And of course, Cox, unfortunately, getting caught up in that one. He's got damage. He'll come down pit road in that 32 machine for BMP. But now the guy I want to focus on is Alex Murray, right? Caught one lap down. Had that drive through at the beginning of the race. Now he's back. He's P4, and he has the best tires right now inside the top 5. It comes down to track position, right? We talked about it all night long. The top 3 cannot afford to pit here. You do not want to be at that end of that line, right? So they're going to come back to green here with 1 lap to go on this caution. They're going to have roughly, I would say, 13 to 12 laps left to play in this one. So we'll see what Alex Murray can do, but I still think that 51 car is going to be really hard to beat here.
So we're coming up to the narrow restart, coming to 13 to go. Here we go again. Bowie in control still. Murray, the first on fresh tires, inside the 4th position. We're backing away. Bowie gets himself ahead, side by side, as Garcia tries to find an edge, makes contact with Gallimore.
Matthews there. So that's a black flag from those incidents, probably for Matthews peeling down the pit road. See Gallimore and Garcia side by side. Garcia, that nose looking cleaner than it did earlier. He's going to roll by trying to get the P2 here. Murray on fresh tires looking for a way around, but they're side by side in front of him. Nothing he can do at the moment. Oh, squeezed him into the fence. Gallimore cut Garcia a huge break.
Yeah, you see how things getting chippy right now. Murray still not able to do much here after the heat cycles. Those heat cycles are going to really impact. You'd have to think how much he's going to be able to charge here.
Definitely an equalizer for the older tires. And we have a caution again. We'll take a look to see what happened here. Matthews, unfortunately, a lap down just before backing out, or he would have stayed on the lead up, but he should be our free pass. Barry Sanders around 1 and 2.
So he's going around again, puts us under 10 to go when we go back racing. And let's see what happened here. His car, well, it looks like it's been to the Paperclip after all. Just the old style one. Oh my goodness.
Harper into the right rear, and then into the right rear again as it just sent Sanders into the corner with no chance of turning. Take another look at it once again here with 23 machines on board. Timothy Harper was looking a little left. Sanders ran the defensive line, and Tim just got into the brakes a little bit too late there, and that's what will happen. You brake just that little bit later than the guy in front of you, you run him over.
Destroys the car, it destroys a lot of competitors, and now let's just back under caution. So running out of laps if you're some of the drivers to try and get it away from Bowie. Garcia, great shout out to him. Couple races now into his season. He's been really good so far, and shouldn't be surprised. I've raced against him personally myself. Jeremy, not sure your experiences with him. He's always been very solid. He's also been one of the drivers and designers with Elwood Design and their essential race team that they've had outside this series with different leagues they've ran. Very big in photography when it comes to the sim side at the very least too.
Don't know if I have much experience with him. I think I've seen his name pop up in a server or two that I am a part of. Namely, for some reason, recognize it from the area server, which is another big league on the sim. But he is definitely shown tonight that he is a driver that can get it done.
He's up to second now with that caution, by the way. His Elwood Designs machine looking to try and find a way to break through for a victory, but it's going to require a lot of work. Keep in mind, he is working tonight with Brandon Bowie in the Aero Camp because they're in the same setup realm with Premier Believe as well. So, we'll find out how they play it out when we get back going. We're coming up to 6 laps to go from Martinsville. Coming up to the restart zone, Van Looy Stickers restart zone.
Yeah, definitely just looking to get through this restart once again. If you're Brandon Bowie without anything going wrong, he missed that corner a little bit before. He will not make that mistake again. I can almost guarantee you that.
Here we go. Watch that restart box. Bowie goes at the start of it. Look at Garcia time it up. Times it up with his teammate. Now does he attack him? Already under attack for second instead. Gallimore got a better run to the corner. Gallimore moves up to second.
Gallimore a good bit ahead there as they file down in the 3. It's going to allow Murray to poke his nose there to be inside of the 8 now. Not quite the run the 22 was looking for there. Garcia back clear in the 3rd. Gets a little bit wide though there. Oh, that's a tight squeeze, but the 22 gets there. Not able to hang once again. Just no drive off right there for Murray right now.
Yep. All of this as well with under 5 to go. Watch for the 11. He is hunting things down. A bit of chaos in the back. Murray going for 3rd. Right now, Murray trying to find a way ahead of the 8 machine. Running out of time to get there, might not have a chance for the lead, but all this battling right now, if anything, does the BMP car go for a bump and run with 3 to go?
We'll see here. Gallimore been so impressive all night long, but Bowie's just able to stretch it out that little bit right there. If he keeps that gap, there'll be nothing Gallimore can do. Murray clear for 3rd right now. If we were to get another restart, he'd have a shot to restart on the leader's back bumper. 2 to go.
2 laps to go, and Bowie's got a perfect chance to run. You see some smoke kicking up for some of the drivers in the back. All Bowie can hope is for it to stay green. Coming on through 3 and 4. Bowie has a 3-car length advantage over Gallimore. 1 to go, brought to you by League Gaming. Final time around. Bowie.
1 around there.
That's at the back of the field. Kyle Holden has gone around. Up at the front of the field, Brandon Bowie continues his streak of dominance. Once again, it's Bowie to victory lane. It's his 3rd win in MRL this season.
Great job all night long. The dominant car. Gallimore put up a fight on that last restart. Just didn't quite have anything for him. I am a little bit surprised though that we didn't get a green white checker from Justin. That car was around well before the leaders got to the line.
That's really interesting to say the very least, but right now, it's Bowie time. And the former eNASCAR pro gets the job done tonight. Win number 3 already. He gets it done to the Paperclip.
Just a great drive all night. He'll burn it down here on the front stretch, and we'll see Matt Cox go flipping there up on the top of the screen. Yep, he did. So into the catch transfer to 32. But Matt, man, just congratulations, Brandon Bowie. Just a great drive, and he really showed why he is the class of his field.
Yep, able to get the job done, to say the least. It was a strong effort from him. All you can say is, it looked like Matt Cox's race early, but the second thing broke away. Things shuffled. But we'll talk about that more after the break. You're watching Precision Entertainment for tonight's coverage of the Shamrock Auto Care 250. More coverage of the MRL after this. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the MRL. Tonight's coverage of the Shamrock Auto Care 250. Getting ready to head to victory lane, but unofficial results on screen. Bowie dominated the second half, if not 2/3 of this race. He takes the win over Gallimore, with Murray in the top 3 here tonight. Nico Garcia finished off in 4th, with Brendan Fitterplace in the top 5. Wilson, Hochschild, Real, Coffey, Harper were a part of your top 10. Harper at one point was battling for the lead.
Yeah, Matt Cox, he led a lot early. He just missed out on the top 10 tonight, P11. Good recovery after that incident late, though. Cody Nagels came home in 12th, followed by Corey Moore. Barry Sanders and Mark Sanchez ran out of our top 15. Aaron Matthews came back from that late penalty to finish 16th. And Kyle Holden, who we saw around late there, came home the last car in the lead lap in 17th. Jose Medina, Ryan Catalano, and Nigel Christensen rounded out the top 20, all one lap behind the leader.
Throw it back even more. 21st is where Johnny Shade ended up tonight. William Owens, 17 laps down. I think was still running at the end, but many laps down. Carr also. Then DNFs for Cornett, King, Metler, Treat also out. Warren off also on debut. Had a quiet debut. Carmichael and a few others. The last car in the field was Vincent after all. So an opportunity to speak with some drivers here. We'll go 3, 2, 1 here this evening. The driver in the 3rd spot tonight, Alex Murray. He's with Jeremy.
Well, Alex, we saw you climbing up and down all night. Penalty to start. A little bit of damage in the middle of the race, going back a lap down. Was able to recover each time. Some fresher tires in the field at the end, just not quite enough to get it done. What did you need to get that little extra drive off to go fight Bowie at the end?
Honestly, I think Nico raced me really, really clean but hard, and that kind of held me up there at the end. I think had I been able to get by him in a lap or two, I probably could have caught Gallimore and Bowie, but it was going to be tough regardless. Bowie was really, really good tonight, so we'll go back, regroup, and figure out what we need to do for the fall here.
Yeah, definitely saw that at the end there with the 8. He put up such a great fight and ran an impressive race all night. Just didn't look like you had the rear drive to get around him, and I think once you finally got that done, we saw some of that pace with the fresher tires. But what was it like cutting through this field so many times, even when you were on the oldest tires on the track after that wave around, still making passes tonight and keeping that car as clean as you could while doing that?
Best word to describe it would be sketchy, man. You don't really know where people are going to go until you get to the corner, and then they decide where they're going to go, and sometimes you're under them, so you got to back out of it, or just get into them. It's tricky because the field spread is so large in this league, and that's a good thing. I mean, it means that everyone's got somebody to race, but at the same time, it makes it really hard for the guys who get put in the back to get through the field without causing mayhem. So it's definitely you have to weigh your options before you make a move on people, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think we saw a lot of that tonight. You exercised some great patience in that. But we're taking a look at this beautiful paint scheme while we're talking to you. Why don't you just tell us about all the partners on board that make that 22 machine get around this racetrack as quick as you're capable of doing?
Yeah, PrecisionSetups.gg, Shamrock Auto Care, Corridor Automotive, all the dig guys, Pay RVA. Just wouldn't be possible without anybody that I just mentioned. Everybody puts in a ton of work each week to get these cars as good as they are, and we're going to continue to try to bring the best cars to the track that we can. I think we're looking pretty good for a championship fight. I think I salvaged some decent points tonight comparative to what it could have been. So we're just going to go to Bristol here in 2 weeks and see what we can get done.
Well, definitely look forward to seeing how you run moving forward. Always good to talk to you, and try to keep yourself off that penalty sheet so you don't have to drive through all those squirrels.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Jeremy.
And that was Alex Murray, Justin, and I think that Zach has our second place finisher, Paul Gallimore.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Standing down on pit road right now with Paul Gallimore, just climbing out of the car. A P2 finish, first top 5 of the season for Paul. Paul, hey, man, how does it feel?
Feels good, man. Feels good. Thank you, guys, putting this on, man. Appreciate it. It felt good. Racing boys, racing up there was fun. I had to come back through the field once, but it was fun.
Of course, yeah. Looking so far, how has your season really stacked up? You finished P6 last week at Darlington. You had a 9th place finish earlier in the season, a 32 finish at Daytona to open up the season. So up and down so far, but it looks like you're finding your way here. What's really leading to that success?
We will stay out of everybody else's messes. We'll be running here all the time. But last year we ended the season very strong in the playoffs. Racking off top fives, top twos, left and right. And I just hadn't been. It was a bunch of wild cards at the beginning of this season too, with the two speedways and then the drafted tracks or whatever, and then the road course too. And I got used up like hell at the road course, so I was running P2 there at one point until I got used up by about 4 or 5 of them, and then finished ninth. That was my other only top 10. So it's all right. We took a different approach over the last few weeks to make sure we had lots of gas. My gas man Brian's been on point to make sure we got there, and then we were running really good at Vegas. If you remember, I was running in the back. We came up there. We were battling at 4 wide up there at one point with Cox, and Murray, and that was probably some of the most fun I've had on the sim ever, because that's just the way that whole race played out. Sucked to get taken out there when that dude put us 3 wide, but hey, it's part of racing. But man, it's been strong. I've been strong here. This is my home track, man. I grew up 2 miles from this place, so I remember coming here in the 80s, watching Daryl and Dale and all them boys, take care of it. So I put a little emphasis on this track this week.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about your season last year in the championship. I would say you're back into that championship form now, right? And you've been up and down the leaderboard the past couple of weeks, and now you come to Martinsville. You talk about your heritage here with this track. What are you gonna take here coming into the fall when we head back later in the season?
Hopefully they don't go and screw the car up more. I don't know. I mean, you know how it is. Our racing tends to mess with the car throughout the year. So if anything, if it's a cooler track, that kind of plays in our favor, grips up, and we can hammer off, and not be too loose. It was a pretty warm track, warmer than what I've used to running this week. But the set still held up. It was great. It was good. Qualifying didn't show what it even had in it. The driver screwed that up. Wasn't the car's fault. But really, we'll just come back here hopefully in the fall. We'll still be, ain't no more playoffs, so we'll just need to make sure we're in a good points position there. We got some stage points today, so we should maybe climbed up a little bit. So hopefully we can stick with it and continue this on. I'm ass at Bristol, so I don't know how that's going to go, but beyond that, Kansas is a fun track, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, who do you want to thank here tonight for the P2 finish?
No, man, I like to thank my gas man, Brian. He really was the person who really got it done. But of course, setup guys, Team Watson Racing setups. That was a rocket ship Kenny and them built, and I like to thank Icon Apparel, of course, and all my guys over there at BMP. They helped a lot, and you guys putting it on, Barry putting on the league, and hopefully, more and more continued success for everyone. So the fun race.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words there, Paul. Paul Gallimore finishing P2 tonight here at the Paperclip.
Let's go crack open a cold one.
Paul Gallimore coming away in second spot, but it's Victory Designs victory lane for one driver tonight. Yet again, Brandon Bowie is the one who brings it home. Brandon, you ended up coming away with a great drive throughout the night. 2/3 of the way you dominated this one. What changed after stage one to take control and let this car unleash the speed it did?
I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, I believe it was just a rubber buildup. The short, on the beginning of the run, it seemed like it was a little bit of, I don't know, I could do things, but I really couldn't do what I wanted to do. So it was as much as I was trying to put pressure on Matt at the beginning of the run, I also didn't want to do something that was going to, wreck him or wreck myself or hit the curb or whatever. So I just attempted to just to try and apply pressure, and just kind of just see how things, worked out, which, he held on to it, got to stage 2, and the car just, I'm assuming it's just the tire wear, or not tire wear, but the rubber on the track. And it just felt like the car just woke up. So, after that we had some cautions or whatever, and just kept moving forward and trying to understand the high line, trying to make passes on the high, low, trying to run different lanes, to trying to get the run off the corner. And I kind of learned some things, which kind of helped make some passes, even trying to get through the lap cars, which that was definitely interesting for the first stage. I mean, it's one of my best tracks, one of my favorite tracks. And mainly it's just because, for the longest time, honestly, I watched Jeff Gordon race here and get a whole bunch of wins along with Jimmy Johnson. And I kind of tried to adapt their way of racing here. And I think it's I think it still works, even with this generation. So it's kind of worked out for me.
Well, you answered about a lot of details in the course of that one question. So let me ask you this in terms of that approach here.
Yep.
In terms of this, in terms of what happened, I'm curious of one thing. You missed the corner at one point. What happened when you missed the corner? What was the reaction when you went up the track, then had to immediately fight back for that lead?
I don't know what was going on with the setup, but it happened like 3 times. And it would happen every time. Like on restart, like it would just... It's like I would go into the corner, I hit the brakes, and it's like it's not reacting. Like the tires are not up to temper or whatever the case is. And also there's a lot of rubber right where the curb is. So I'm thinking that I'm hitting rubber there, and it's just not slowing down as much as I need to. And then I'm having to like really get on the brakes, and then I end up blowing the corner. So that was really, really frustrating, to be honest with you, just to continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Thankfully, I had a fast enough car that I can actually get the lead back. But I mean, it would only took, basically a caution coming out at the wrong time to really just, blow away the win there.
With that being said, what are you going to do during your off week?
Oh man, a lot of family time. Do a little Easter with the kids. Probably relax, because honestly, I'm sweating pretty badly right now. I haven't sweat this bad in a long time in a race. So yeah, just mainly spending time with the family, and I'm gonna go outside and touch some grass and have some fun.
Any shout-outs you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, of course. Give a shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a great job every week. Even with the interviews with the drivers, I love to listen to that. They kind of get their feedback and kind of listen to what their thoughts are of the race and stuff like that. Gotta thank Team Arrow for again bringing me on. Barry Sanders, he's doing this thing. Teammates on Premier Setups. They are an amazing group of guys to hang out with and work with them on building these setups. Setups are fast, week in and week out, and they are one of the biggest reasons why I can go out there and win these races like this. So, got to thank the league itself, my family for allowing me to race, and I thank the man upstairs.
Congratulations on the victory here tonight and a trip to Victory Designs Victory Lane, Brandon.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Brandon Bowie takes the trip to Victory Designs Victory Lane for the 3rd time this season. He gets it done here tonight. Now, Jeremy, tonight had some ups and downs, especially in the heart of the field, a bit of strategy with the tires, but in the end, it was quite simple. If you're among some of the competitors here up the front, you're likely to consist up at the front. We've seen that with Bowie. We've seen that with Gallimore. He had speed most of the night. We've seen that with a couple others, but it was an interesting one overall.
Yeah, I mean, Bowie just clearly the class of the field, right? I mean, fastest car the entire night, really. Even when he was working out the back of Cox, you could just see the way that car was getting through the corner better. But I really do need to give my flowers to Gallimore again. I think if we had a driver of the day award, it would be him without a question tonight. That is a driver we have seen improving week after week, season after season. I think he's showing a lot more speed than we saw out of him, even at the end of last season when he was starting to get stronger. And he's going to win one of these pretty soon at the rate he's going.
Now, keep in mind, we have a lot of racing to go when it comes to this series. They have an off week to be able to take a breather to, but in about a week, after this week, should say, we'll be heading to Bristol. That should be an interesting one. Last Great Coliseum on tap at the Tennessee-based track, Jeremy.
Yeah, we'll see how this track races now with some of the new aero at play. So, it's been a track that people have been pretty frustrated with over the lifespan of this next generation race car. I've been a few of those races in real life where the tires didn't want to cooperate with the concrete there, but we don't ever see that on the sim, obviously. So we'll see if we get some better racing than we've seen in the past. I think we will, and I certainly hope we will. And I can guarantee you that no matter what service is giving us, these guys will put on a show.
On that note, it's just about time to say goodbye for tonight's coverage. A lot of people to thank tonight. Axel Smith has our social media. Zach Case down on pit road. Jeremy Miller, my co-announcer, our producer, Ryan Bauer, and of course with Blackstone Cams as well for the camera packs provided. I'm Justin Prince, thanking you for tuning in for tonight's coverage on the Moonshiners Racing League and the GMD Janitorial Cup Series here from what was an exciting one for the Paperclip. It was an exciting race for many drivers in the Shamrock Auto Care 250, but only one could take the win. That was Brandon Bowie. He secures win number 3 of the season. It's time to say goodnight. We'll see you next time we go racing from Bristol.
Knuckle grip in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers on record. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.